Crap. Sitting here recording and everything today. I forgot to get everything set back up for the live stream. There we go. Okay. All right. Just pretend like I just went live like right now, okay? Everybody just pretend like we started right. Because I got a little presentation. I got a little special. I got a little something special for you. Pretend like we just went live right now. You're a mean one, Bullhorn Grinch. You really are a joke. You're really mean to people and a criminal and stuff, Bullhorn Grinch. You're as crazy as your friend Molly. You're a mean one, Bullhorn Grinch. You really are a choke. You're a jailhouse lawyer and you are freaking broke, Bullhorn Grinch. Stop stalking people, Bullhorn Grinch.
If he's intentionally avoiding knowing what's going on here, he can go away too. I can't.
Who the hell is that? Whose voice is this?
Y'all know I talk like a sailor reviewing when I'm upset. It comes out worse.
Whose voice is this? Alright, text me whose voice. I'll just text the girl.
Yeah, so I just want to tell you guys this, that, you know, they try to sit here and say that what we're doing is wrong. What we're doing is completely 100% wrong. Okay, what they're doing, on the other hand, is not.
Oh, really?
And there's a difference.
Oh, yeah? Don't say the name. Don't say the name. Don't worry.
Stink,
Don't
stunk.
worry.
Damn it. Oh, come on. I forgot the stink, stank, stunk. That's the best part. Hey, guys. Stink, stank, and stunk. I'm trying to do something to make the stream a little special. How do I fix it? How do I... Oh, here we go. Wait. That one. There it is. Much better. All right. I'm starting to get this projector thing a little more figured out. If I put this thing on loop, it looks a lot better. Now, we've been having to look at the craziest things going on lately, and it's been distracting us from looking at the main thing that happened. Now, you know... I've been promising you guys an upload for days or even a week. So I finished it today. I uploaded it and YouTube took like 40 minutes or something, or 30 extra minutes to check it. So instead of me waiting until the morning, which would have probably made the video perform better, I just threw it out for you because I want to give you part 2, if not tomorrow, the day after. Now, I know what you're thinking. Uni, you always tell us you're going to give us a video and then it doesn't come and then it takes you days. Now, this time it's different because I already started editing part 2. Part 2 and part 1 ran together, right? In fact, I'm probably going to do 3 parts. So really quick, while we give anyone that wants to join a few minutes to come in, part 1 is on UNIRocktv right now. That's my main channel. Even if you don't watch it now, or if you haven't watched it yet, just do me a solid. Before you are finished with me tonight, if you support me or whatever, go watch the video on UNIRocktv because I need it to get a baseline of views. And because I released it late, my videos don't perform good if I don't release them in the morning. It's just something about UNIRocktv. It's like my time frame. So check it out for me. Make sure you watch it. Part 1 involves the setup, and it shows how they threaten nonsense and the voicemail and some of the dumber things they were saying and doing. Part 2 will be the Ashley Furniture Store Karening, the ultimate Karening, and part 3 will kind of transfer in between some of the things they said and did, like the Ray Ray stuff. That's going to be part 2, Betty's Ray Ray stuff, leading into part 3, which will be House of Williams from yesterday. Yesterday? It was yesterday. House of Williams from yesterday. See, I was right. I'm going to second guess myself. So, if my mods will do me a huge favor, will the mods please drop the link to the new UNIRocktv video in the chat throughout the stream? Every 5 minutes or so, even, if you just want to say, this is the new UNIRocktv video, don't forget about it. I'll go ahead, because I wasn't going to stream tonight, honestly. Like, I've been putting a lot of time into this upload, and I chopped it into parts so that I could get it out faster. And you know, like I could have released it in the morning and probably got an extra 1,000 views on it, but I'm just going to throw it out tonight and see what happens, okay? because I want to get part 2 out. I think it's going to be important to get part 2 out. Part 2 is the damn Ashley Furniture Store Karening. So I know that Nonsense and Nunya were talking about how we shouldn't have covered the House of Williams and brought a bunch of attention to it. And I agree with them to an extent, but I only disagree and covered it. And if Navy's watching, tell him he can jump in whenever he wants, whenever he's got time. But the House of Williams thing, in my opinion, yes, it's them trying to distract, but it backfired massively on them because it got a lot of people really mad and really invested, and those people need to know about the distraction that was the reason for the Ashley Furniture kerfluffle and the House of Williams hospital invasion of trespassing that happened. Okay, so today I'm gonna try to give you a little bit of the stuff that's in the middle, or the really important stuff that just gets dropped to the wayside involving this last story arc. Again, these people, whether they are now or whether people will admit it about them or whether they get deleted from YouTube so fast they don't have time to fully become them, are locals. A locale is a person that is infamous, as in they're not popular, they're not famous, but so many people pay attention to them that it makes them infamous, and they laugh at them and they can't believe the way they act. Now, every locale has a different draw to them. They have a different thing that causes people to pay attention. And I'm not here to give you an entire breakdown of internet history, of YouTube history, or of locale history, but I could, because I have a very strange brain defect. While some people have photographic memories and can remember everything in the world, I only have that when it is involving the internet and locales and internet history and YouTube and the internet and computers. So I have the strangest birth brain defect that there is, but it does help me do my content, so I'm not going to complain. At least it helps me with my content. So let's go ahead without further boo-boo, with me just running on at the mouth here. Let's go ahead and get started on 2/5 of 2023. It's 7 p.m. right around 1900 on the East Coast, broadcasting from the East Coast of the glorious United States of America. As always, wherever you're from is glorious too. I've been many places and I love the people everywhere I went. This is Nights of Our Live Streams, a special broadcast of UNIRock Live on rockAlot, hosted from UNIRock to our main channel to rockAlot and at UNIRocktv on Twitter. We are streaming there too. For any reason, if you want to watch on Twitter, it's there for you. Now, we are going to clean up the mess of the attempted distracting from Heels on the Ground to try to give Betty and Molly an out for their vicious real-life threats, intimidation, and doxing. And even if you want to say that Nonsense deserves it, she doesn't. Some people have this very weird thing. Hey, if you get on the internet and you jump into this, hey, Letta, thank you. Hey, mama, thank you. And even if you want to say that someone giving their opinion on the internet, it's their fault what happens if they do give their opinion, and you want to say Nonsense, blah, 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 right? Nonsense's children, husband and mother, are innocent. And therefore, these two Grinches, they didn't steal Christmas. These Grinches are stalking innocent people on the internet because their fifis got hurt tonight on Nights of Our Live Streams. Now, last thing first, I forgot. So I'm going to come back to the screen and I'm going to humble myself by sharing my PayPal link. PayPal.me/UniRock. It's completely optional if you want to support me by donating there or on Cash App at #UniRachel. Both ways are in the description. Let me go ahead and pin them to the top because I forgot to do it. So when I edit, man, when I edit stuff, guys, I will straight forget everything. And we also use patreon.com/UniRock, where you can use any credit card or any way to pay if you don't use those other methods, just so you know. Now, I am going to share those links throughout the stream tonight. You're my hero, Peggy. Thank you very much. I appreciate you for the support. But I do need to share my link throughout the night so that hopefully we will get some donos on PayPal. Okay, no worries, no worries. Let me see if I'm connected before I start talking so I don't waste my time. Yeah, guys, it's weird. It's different because like when I'm editing a video, I get so messed up in the head that I forget to like restart my system and all that garbage. And we're back. Okay, that wasn't that bad. That wasn't that bad. I'll get this thing. I'll get my video back up here. And you know what? I like that. I like that there. I'm just going to leave it as it is. Anyway, where was I? Oh, I know. I left off telling you guys that I am going to be sharing my pay link, but it's completely optional. It is me sharing it to give you an option. So what I do is I watch and I'll see when more people are coming in the stream and I'll drop it in the chat. Music. All right. So let me go ahead and just set up the last couple things I need to set up. Hey, thank you, Stephanie. Very kind of you. Got my live chat up and got my videos up. I got everything we were looking at up.
All right, guys, on my crew, I'm going to,
Shut up.
I have been up hours before this lady here.
Shut up, Molly and Betty. Shut up. It's not time for that yet. You got to give me a minute. Dang. And we're right back up. So we're going to roll right into it where I left off and remind you one last time that supporting us is optional. It's just something that if you want to do it, you have that option. If you like what you see, people that do it are what help us to keep doing what we do. Sorry, I've never been interrupted in the middle of sharing my pay link to have my PC crash. I've never seen that happen. Typically, it always waits for me to finish. All right. Now, reminder, because I had to restart. And Navy, whenever you have time, bro, you're welcome in here. If you have, I didn't get a chance to talk to you before the stream, so if you're busy, it's all good. I'm just letting you know. I don't want you to think you ain't welcome. Of course, you're welcome. We are going to be putting a focus on the things that the Heels on the Ground crew attempted to distract us from. That's what we're going to do. Can I get this video to launch like ever? Oh, it launched. Oh, okay. Well, here, let me hit play on this while I fix it.
I have a sage. I have sage. I'll sage myself.
But at the end of the day, I just want a big shout out to my friend and anybody else that's suffering. You know, he's not the only one that's suffering here tonight. We want to pray for him, but we also want to pray for all those that are suffering in silence here on our channels.
No, you don't. You freaking liar. By the way, we're only watching the clips we're watching for a reason. It will matter. Hear me out. You will know what clip this is as we get going. This is from Not For Nothing. Now, in the upload on UNIRock 2, I did shout out Not For Nothing because I used this video where they put this filter on Molly and Betty, and this is one of the most awesome filters I've ever seen ever. They are the Grinches who tried to steal Nonsense's Christmas.
In abroad,
You don't care about anybody. Let me get into commentary mode. Blink. Okay, I'm ready. You don't care about anybody. Betty, quit lying, Betty, because the only people you care about are the ones that kiss your booty. You're such narcos. You only care about people that will allow your lies to affect them. And if anybody calls you on your lies, they are an enemy. They are a bad guy. They are bye-bye. They might get their tires slashed. They might get the hands of doom.
We do crazy things. We are, you know, perceived to be like the worst of YouTube, just the way it hurts.
You're not perceived to be the worst of YouTube. This is your ego and narcissism playing a trick on you. You are the worst of YouTube right now. Yeah, there are some other people that are also the worst of YouTube with you, but not really that much. I mean, I don't just look at you guys. If I just looked at you guys, then I wouldn't be, you know, keeping my eyes out there to be able to bring new topics in when I need to, and I am, by the way. I'm studying all the stuff I'm going to be talking about for the whole damn year, every day, all night. And there are people out there like Acerthorn, a man who has filed so many DMCA lawsuits to try to destroy other channels and bully even big creators whose entire careers are based around YouTube and try to ruin their lives. And he just lost in court by filing all of his frivolous lawsuits. He got them thrown out of court. They labeled him a litigious, whatever it's called, where you file fake lawsuits. And guess what he did in the last couple days? Filed another he didn't even learn his lesson from getting in trouble and filing that. You're not the only worst, but you are. Your ego is trying to make it feel, it's making you not feel as bad. You want to say you're perceived as the worst. Oh no, the necks of the channels you choke know that you're the worst.
Positions, and we love everybody.
Hey guys,
we love everybody that loves us. You cross us. I just got to tell you.
You cross us. That is a crazy laugh. You have a crazy laugh, and it's not because it's sped up, and it's not because of the filter.
Different story. I just want you to know they're planning on going after your husband.
So basically, out of nowhere, just because Walter decided that he was going to be in a Molly video, and because that Molly video was Nonsense reacted to that Molly video. Now, again, this has to do with the doxing of Nonsense. This is the stuff they're distracting from, okay? Their mouths are writing checks that their booties can't cash. Oh, it's so true. I don't think their booties can cash any checks after hearing about Betty's credit card problem she's going to court for here soon. Thanks, Burnt Toast. But back to what I was saying, though.
And that'll be the last fucking thing they ever do.
Oh.
So it's a death threat. The last thing you're ever going to do is if you talk about my husband. And all Nonsense did was react to Walter chiming in on a live stream. Hey, Molly, if Walter decides to put his 2 cents in, if he gets involved in a situation, if he gets on a stream, he's not a private dude anymore in that respect. Now, it doesn't mean people can go stalk him like you all do. You don't got to worry about us doing that. We're just going to react to the public stuff you post. And because you posted public stuff, a live stream, that Walter was speaking and giving an opinion in, Nonsense responded and said things about him, and now you want to say it's the last thing it's the last mistake she'll ever make. I'm gonna kill her. I'm gonna end her life. Okay, we get you.
That'll be.
Well, let me tell you guys something. This is the problem I'm having here on YouTube is people, you know, they try.
Okay, so here's one of the main reasons we are playing this clip, getting you ready for it. I've been putting this content for you together for you, you know, over the last few days, making sure it gets edited on UNIRock. It's up. The new video is out. I'm going to keep reminding you of that. Let me go ahead and copy and paste my links so that when I want to share it, I can throw it in, because my goal is to get a few donos tonight. If we don't, that's perfectly fine. It would just really help. Now, she's going to explain the law to us. But I think everyone, even a 5-year-old, okay, fine, maybe even a 9-year-old would know that she's not correct. And I'm going to break it down for her, and it's going to be a little boring, and it might chase some of you away when I start to break stuff down. So I'm going to let you know ahead of time. Here we go.
Try to sit there and point the finger at me and Marissa for doing things that we do. But what
we point the finger at you and Marissa for doing things that you do. At least you admit that you're doing it. At least you're not denying that you do it. And isn't that how life works, Betty? If you do something, can't people point at you for doing it? Or should we be pointing at someone else?
Scrawny little bastard too. I have nothing good to say there. If he is either has.
So Betty ends up having to put in check her choke response when Molly keeps interrupting her. Hey, thank you, Cherie. Appreciate you. Betty has to put into her pocket her choke response and try to keep away from the chokening of Molly here, because Molly is interrupting Betty. Molly, have you heard what happened to the last boyfriend, dude that was living with Betty that tried to interrupt her?
I don't care if he's intentionally avoiding knowing what's going on here. He can go.
That's Nonsense's voice. And Nonsense is specifically responding to Walter in a stream and getting interfering in some of Molly's bullying.
Oh, wait, too. I
Who the
can't.
hell is that? Whose voice is this?
Sorry. Y'all know I talk like this.
You know, so did you hear Betty? Who's that? You can even tell by the way she said, who's that? She's lying, because she's admitted later in this day to fully dox. Oh my gosh, Cherie, thank you. My goodness. Fully, hey, Wonder Twin, Punk Rock, Menace, Kate D, and Diana got gifted memberships. Excellent. Oh, I know, Sunshine. Sunshine, Nonsense is so under Molly's skin. It's just incredible. But back to what we were saying here. I'm gonna lose it. Let me go back 5 seconds. Let me go back 5 seconds. Oh, so Nonsense and Molly and things and stuff. I'm gonna have to play a little more.
Who the hell is that? Whose voice is this?
Who is that? Whose voice is this? After this happened, these two admitted to doxing, and they're gonna say it out loud. That's why we're gonna be playing this clip. They admit to digging back into every aspect of Nonsense's life until she was damn born. Like the night that she was born, it was a rainy night in the fall. I don't know, but they know all about it, is my point. So you know whose voice this is. You've memorized, both of you have memorized her voice. She is so under your skin. When you hear her voice, you all run and grab your popcorn and sit down at the TV like you're super fans.
Y'all know I talk like
I love this. Not for nothing. Great edit.
Whose voice is this?
It's nonsense. Everybody, you've already doxed nonsense, called her out, and have been watching many of her streams since then. I mean, you know who this is.
Text me who's voice. I'll just ask the girl.
Yeah, so I just want to tell you guys this, that, you know, they try to sit here and say that what we're doing is wrong. Well,
Okay, so then Betty says they try to sit here and say that what we're doing is wrong. Actually, the definition of every human being sees what you're doing as wrong. It's not like you're doing something arguably wrong. It's not like it's borderline, or it's not like we're being Karens by calling you out or something, calling you out in some frivolous way or an over-exaggerated way. You, a Florida strangler who knocked some dude's teeth loose out and made him bleed everywhere and injured his arm heavily, broke all the stuff in his house and got a domestic battery strangulation for doing it, permanently on your record, has threatened someone else. And if they look and see what you do to people who you threaten, they now have to protect themselves from you. You should have more, whatever you want to say, I don't know, responsibility, I don't know what to say, than you do because of the choices you've made in the recent past to treat other people in this heinous, disgusting, murderous way you have, that you should not be threatening people. And because you're getting called on it, oh, you can't take it.
what we're doing is completely 100% lawful. Okay, what?
No. What you're doing is not lawful. And she's about to explain why she believes, and she's lying, that she's going to explain why she believes what she's doing is lawful. She's going to explain that in just a momento, okay? Don't let her get you twisted here, because as she explains the law, she says, and I'm going to just give you a preface here. She's going to say that if you stalk somebody in real life and you do horrible things in real life to people, it's not against the law. But if you do it online, it's guaranteed to be against the law. And the only logic that I can figure this out is that she's using jailhouse lawyer tactics. So what she's trying to say is that if you do it on the internet, because the internet lasts forever, you're guaranteed to have a footprint and evidence generated by what you do. But if you do it in real life, there's a chance you can run away.
What they're doing, on the other hand, is not.
Oh, really?
What we're doing. Now, I've tried to ask myself what she's talking about. You know, me being the idiot that I am, tried to give Betty the benefit of the doubt in the last couple months where she's constantly crying she's being stalked. That is until I've seen further clips of her elaborating further on what she means. So just to get you guys prepared, what does she mean by people stalking her and Marissa? What Nonsense does, what I do, what Heels in the Air and Burnt Toast and every other commentator does, if we talk about the stuff they post, because she has such a warped understanding of the law, and she has this crazy notion that God knows where she got it, that if you do it in real life, it's not illegal. But if you do it online, it is. Which doesn't make sense, because I've watched Molly sit there for hours watching Dre's videos. Fair use, reacting to Dre's videos. In some instances, she did violate her copyright, but in others, she reacted under fair use. So I wonder, why does Betty support Molly knowing that she did everything that she says everyone else is doing wrong, right?
And there's a difference.
Oh, yeah? Don't say the name. Don't say the name. Don't worry. We got her whole background.
You don't have to say her name. You just played her voice, so we know who it is you're talking about. Nonsense. And you're telling your audience you have her whole background. So what is in her background that makes her so horrible? Well, she's about to tell you, and Nonsense has already responded to this, and I don't think there's anything in Nonsense's background that makes Nonsense horrible. Again, if Betty had changed since she did what she did, I wouldn't support her being as bad as it is. But some other people would say, hey, this is in her distant past. Give her a break. Okay, fine. But when it comes to the way you're about to treat Nonsense, let's compare your words to Nonsense and your friend Betty, okay? Because you do understand, when you make a judgment of somebody else, it applies to all people. The logic, the statements you make about one person judges other people that fit that descriptor. So let's take a listen.
Don't worry, don't say anything. Got a
Okay,
whole background.
okay. So
you want
I
to know how
just-
many times that bitch has got fucking bankruptcies?
Oh, bankruptcies. So you're saying that she's a bad person because of bankruptcies. So let me go ahead and do what I do for my audience, which is to give commentary. Pay attention to a whole subject and then be able to give commentary to expose the hypocrisy and the silliness and the saltiness of the person speaking, okay? Now you ready? Betty has charged up a bunch of credit cards. Betty doesn't have the money to pay those cards according to Burnt Toast. And Burnt Toast has all that information. So it's a lot of money. Betty even admitted that she took her mother and put her mother's name on her YouTube so that she wouldn't have to, obviously, worry about those credit card companies finding out that she's making this money. Again, I don't give a shit about Betty's business until Molly or Betty start to jump Nonsense for bankruptcy. But we now have more information about Nonsense's bankruptcy. It happened a long time ago. It happened because of a child that was born that had medical disorders, and it cost a lot of money for them to treat the child. So we know that this is actually true. This is actually like checkable, because if you look at their life, just like the husband and Nonsense and them when they're streaming and in their home, they have a nice home. They're doing really good. He's working. He's got a business. I don't think any of us are going to challenge the fact that they're doing better now. So because in her distant past, she had a bankruptcy. By the way, that does not make any of you a bad person. Molly is insulting a large amount of her audience, because when you're younger, sometimes you make mistakes. Sometimes you don't know how to manage your finances or what it means to get a credit card, and you end up having some predatory interest rate or something like that, and you can't afford it, and you got to file bankruptcy. Now, I'm happy I've never had to do that, but I have had it my own problems like everyone has. But the issue is, none of us are bad people, because these things have happened back then. Though if Molly thinks Nonsense is a bad person because she has a bankruptcy and had that issue, why are you sitting next to Betty? Betty is dealing with her issues right now. According to Toasty, she's supposed to be in court extremely soon. And why is she not letting the credit card companies know about the massive business, the media empire that she's running?
Sleeves and all that other shit. She's a fucking loser.
Now this is why you're losing support from your audience. Because when you insult Nonsense for something that's not even relative anymore, you're not realizing how many people in your audience you're also insulting, and they don't like it.
Yeah, fucking loser with a fucking Chrysler Sebring. Don't even make.
So she's a loser because she drives an older vehicle. Really? Because she's paying insurance, has a driver's license, takes her kids where they got to go, and has a vehicle, just because it's not some super expensive vehicle. You know, some people choose to drive older vehicles because they like them. So some dude who's repaired some like 73 whatever, he's a bad guy because he didn't buy a 2023 whatever or 22 whatever Molly wants him to get, because he's got a classic in his or what about in the 90s? What if you just like a 1990 Honda? And all of a sudden now you're a bad person because of it. Actually, Molly, it's not true. You're not a bad person for driving a shitty car or a good car. You're not a good person for driving an expensive car. Money doesn't equate to this. You're a good person when you treat other people good, and you're a bad person when you treat other people bad. And right now, you and Betty, well, actually, for the last few years, you and Betty have been treating people atrociously.
Take him anymore. She's fucking broke.
I don't believe you. Her husband has a really good job, or like a really good business thing going on. So I don't believe you. I think you're just I just think you're slinging mud. And I would, I have never seen Nonsense e-bag. I rarely see Nonsense even do what I do and share a pay link, paypal.me/UNIRock if you want to support me. It'd actually help a lot right now. I don't even see her doing that. I know she's got it to where you can join her channel and she's got like a Cash App, but she rarely talks about it. I don't even think I've ever heard her talk about it at all. I've seen her turn off monetization, or I'm sorry, turn off, like not show her links and stuff more times than anything else. You know, she seems to be a creator who isn't motivated by getting money from what she does, right? And by the way, you're not a bad YouTuber if you want to make money on the platform. You're a bad YouTuber when you put making money above telling the truth, or above, you know, your audience, as in you're not going to lie to them and stuff, right? But these are all things that you and Betty do on a daily basis. You've e-begged worse than anyone I've ever seen. Betty has straight up uploaded what she knew was not audio of a vicious crime scene just because it was viral, just to exploit those people's deaths to make money off of it, and left the video up even after many people, including myself, went and found the original noise that she was claiming to be from that crime scene. And when she got criticized to the point that she couldn't keep the video up anymore, did she take it down? Nope. You know what she did? Changed the title to try to fool people into thinking that she took it down. She's that skeezy. So I know you guys can sling mud, but I think you're just projecting.
Yeah. So what I did want to say is that there is a difference.
Now listen, because here comes Betty's. While Molly sits and instructs people to dox and harass nonsense on the phone and gather her info and do all this garbage because she's mad at nonsense, Betty decides to give us a lesson in the Bullhorn Betty Law School.
I mean,
Bring it, bitch.
There's a
Wow, you salty. Bring it, bitch. Look at that look on your face. I can see how salty you are through the filter. But Betty, please go ahead.
difference. Here's the difference, is you can show up and
Did you know the owner of IKEA drove a rusted old car over 30 years old and lived in a rundown bungalow? Oh, many rich people don't touch their money. You know Mr. Beast, who has millions and millions coming in and out every few days on his channel. He chooses to live in a very modest apartment and in a very modest way. He chooses to. And he gives away the majority of all of his income to his family, to his friends, to strangers. A lot of people show that they're good people by doing that. And by the way, they treat people, right?
and have your voice be heard in person. As soon as you do underhanded stuff through electronic means, you got yourself jammed up.
Okay, because you're making no sense, and you're making no sense because you've never been to school. You've never been educated. As soon as you do underhanded stuff through the internet, you're getting jammed up. Okay, fine, let's break that down. Anytime you do underhanded stuff in real life or on the internet, you're doing something wrong. Betty, I said this in my upload. I'm going to reiterate very quickly for you. Now, my upload goes into a lot of other different things, and that's why we're going to focus on this a little more. But let me go ahead and break this down. When you commit a crime, whether you're doing it through ordering somebody else to do it, whether you're doing it by doing it yourself in person, whether you're doing it through some type of remote means, like, I don't know, if I have a bomb that I detonate from a mile away, or whether I'm doing it through spying or whatever it is, through electronic means or physical, you're committing a crime. A crime or a slight against someone, or you stepping on their rights, you violating their rights, is a crime no matter how you do it, Betty. This might be why you've confused yourself into thinking you're a good person or whatever, and you know you're not. You know you're out of control, and you know you're constantly doing this. You're just mad that you're busted.
That is exactly. Everybody wants to sit there and say, but you can do this and you can do that. Yes. Why do you think I'm here in person?
I think you're there in person because what you've tried to do is find a way to guilt trip your audience into believing you're spending money to do something, when in reality, you're not. You're spending a very small amount of money to go drive around, fly around, or stay in these cheap hotels. And you're trying to make your audience think you're spending lots of money because you've realized it'll get your audience to send you lots and lots more money, right? And I think another reason you do it is because you know that if you and your friends don't pretend that you going there equates to you doing a good job, then they'll watch every other YouTuber, because we know we don't have to go somewhere to report on a story. Now, we do have to go somewhere if we want to do something more advanced. The problem is, the news does that. The news does it better than any of us could. So why are we, when we could just source the news, going to waste our time to go traveling to any of these places? Well, let's ask ourselves, what did it do for Betty and Molly and the Heels on the Ground team? Did they gain any justice? Did they gain any good information? Did they do anything good through traveling in person to any of these places? No, actually, they did the opposite. They ended up jeopardizing many of the investigations. They ended up wasting law enforcement resources, and they ended up doxing people, harassing people in real life, and getting people fired from their jobs, thus affecting their lives in a negative, permanent way just because they went there. So actually, your grift is exposed. We've broken it down. Others have broken it down to the point that this isn't going to work anymore. And every time you repeat this, it's just going to be funnier and funnier and funnier.
And not doing it online through telephonic means, through digital means. I do it in person because.
So why did you call and leave nonsense the threatening message? Because that's called a telephone. That's called a crime, threatening somebody, doxing somebody, sharing. Melissa shared the information with you, which was the dox, and she shared it to a dangerous, vile, vicious, threatening person. Therefore, the dox was intercepted and acted upon in an illegal, nasty, threatening way, as we all know, right? And yeah, Betty, you did commit a crime by calling nonsense and leaving her that threat, stalking the mother, the kids, and the husband. And you guys want to act like we're crazy because we know that you all are the people that did the CPS call, and you want to act like we're crazy because we say that you all do these other things that are happening out there. Well, we know it's you. There's no other person desperate enough out there to do these things to another person on the platform. Well, that is, other than some of your friends. So let me see where this video's at. If it's not pulled up, it should be. Then I will. Oh, that's probably it. Hey, Jonathan's making bogus CPS calls by Heels in the Air. Just uploaded 10 hours ago. This is one of your good friends, Betty.
Hey, everyone. I just want to let everybody know that yesterday found out that.
Shut up. Shut up, Molly.
I did this once.
Okay, so if you're in here, and when I see new people come in and leave and stuff, I'm going to reshare my pay link in the chat. If you've already seen it, just ignore it, okay? There we go.
And I got way too bent out of shape. But now I'm going to try to do it calmly. Here we go. Hello, Jonathan. On the other one, I comment.
What's wrong with this dude? Why does he look like somebody smacked him in the face with like 4 different kinds of drugs?
Okay.
You've been smacked in the face by meth. You've been smacked in the face by weed. You've been smacked in the face by alcohol. Like, what? Why are you getting smacked in the face by all these different substances?
Distastefully on your flowers and the talent of whomever arranged them. And I asked you if you lived in a mortuary or maybe a model apartment in a bad hood. But I take all that back.
Oh, man, I'm horrible.
Okay.
They put out a video on their YouTube channel.
Hold up.
2021.
Oh my God, you have the craziest eyes I have ever seen on a man or on a skeleton thing. I've never seen a skeleton thing with eyes that crazy. Lord, they're about to bug out of your head and run circles around you. This is scary.
Almost 20 months. Where is she? Let's talk about Don and Candace Wells. They put out a video on their YouTube channel.
Yes, they did.
Celebrating Summer's.
Can you do me a favor? Can you actually speak like a human being instead of some kind of death bot 5000? Do you go around, are you programmed by evil scientists to murder people? Why do you talk like this?
Birthday.
7th birthday, yes.
While Candace was in the hospital.
Where is the little girl that went missing? My eyes are going to pop out of my head. I've been programmed by evil scientists.
Yes.
I have a big problem with this video that they put out. I'm going to share with you some clips of the video where I have a problem.
Let me share with you that I have a problem, blah, 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 blah.
With.
Damn it, the robot's repeating himself again. Just smack it in the back and it'll stop it. It's like a record. Smack it and it'll get back on track.
Normally,
Smack it with some crack. That'll get it going.
people,
You got to smack it in the face with the crack, though. It doesn't work if you smack it in the neck.
when they look around to see who cares and who doesn't, I'm not thinking you're on the top of A.F. Pennington and Robin Lane's list. I'm just saying.
Check it out.
Okay.
Check it out. Do humans move their hand like this when they say check it out? Yes, mad scientist master. Okay, check it out. No, they don't, JLR. Humans do not move like that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me just give you some advice. A.F. Pennington has been tested before and it didn't work out well. I'm just letting you know this. So maybe you can, next time you play something of hers, you don't play it all the way through without fair use, because this isn't fair use.
No, they don't give a shit about fair use. They don't even consider fair use a law, because that law would expose them instead. And it opens them up to be criticized by people like us, and it gives us a right that if they meant what they said about the law and about rights and justice, they would have to allow us to commentate without saying all the slander and lies they say about us for commentating on them. So they just pretend like fair use doesn't exist.
Okay, just letting you know. I'm putting a little girl on here.
You're telling me this creepy robot thing uploaded this video of this girl? This dude needs to get his CPU checked. He needs to get his microchips in order. Stop uploading these kids.
That you do not have permission to make money on, and this video is monetized.
Do you have a wire crossed? What's going on, robot?
You might check.
Stop.
It's a lawsuit Viking something. Anyway, you can't make money off without.
JLR stole artwork by Pennington. I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did. And when they get a lawsuit, they'll start changing their damn tune.
Consent. Okay, that's very sweet. Donnie, oh, that's right here. Remember?
You know, I mean, I gotta wonder why this like skeleton robot even uploaded this. Is he trying to manipulate his audience or something?
You commented on someone's, I don't know whose video.
Skeleton robot. I love that, man. That's a good joke.
Yeah, it was, and you said.
Navy, what's up, dude? Let me share this for you. We got a skeleton robot in the house, bro. Oh, just chilling. Oh, just chilling. Several. Hey, thanks, dude. We got a couple weird video of small children stealing skeleton robots going on here.
Those balloons were photoshopped because there were only 6.
What? Who put this in? Is this JLR that put this in? As I've stated before, the spreading of false information in any case should be avoided at all costs. Hills in the... How do you put hills in the air? How did they attach a bunch of balloons to the hills, and did the hills float? Did they use hot air balloons to raise the hills in the air? HILLS? Oh shit, Lauren, will do. Did you hook me up? Because if you did, I'm gonna be so happy. So happy. Oh, thank you. There it went. There it went. It updated. It didn't update at first. Oh, thank you so much. You're too kind. I mean, did you think if you put hills in the air twice, people wouldn't notice that you misspelled it? You notice that this robot tries to talk like a smart person? This robot's like, smart human beings use big words like therefore. I'm going to use big words when I do my video. My eyeballs are falling out. I therefore would like to present evidence that several comments have been made erroneously. How do you spell erroneously correctly, but you misspell heels? How, robot? That's how I know you're a robot. That's how I know. Human beings. Now he's like, I'm a robot. If I misspell some of the words, they're going to think I'm a human, right? And that's how you know he's a robot, because Humans misspell the hard words. They don't misspell the easy ones, JLR. God, your robot brain is pissing me off tonight. I can't do it. Thus allowing those that made the opportunity to rectify. This sentence is obviously written by a robot. For one, there's no punctuation. Oh, man. Hey, thank you. Who said that? Is it Beside? Hey, thank you, Beside. I therefore would like to present evidence that several comments have been made erroneously, thus allowing those that made them the opportunity to rectify it. It's called a run-on sentence, JLR. Go back to Robot Programming Factory and they'll help you get fixed. Thank you, K-Dub. Oh man, I can't do this tonight, man. I'm gonna be being silly as fuck, guys, if I keep streaming. I'm just gonna, because I've been editing all day, and when I edit all day, I get really, 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 really crazy at night. Are you really gonna go into the comments? You do realize anybody can write a comment, right? You think it's spreading misinformation that you have to go correct every comment? Have you ever seen anyone do this, Navy? I've seen people pull comments and like
no.
But I've never seen anybody try to... Yeah, it's a little weird. It's almost like there's some kind of weird robot trying to convince everybody he's a real boy. Got this weird Pinocchio syndrome going on. Only problem is his nose doesn't grow when he lies. I mean, his robot manufacturer was like, if we let this dude have a lie nose that grows when he lies, his nose is going to be like 40 foot long in the first 5 minutes, so we can't give that part to him. No. Jonathan Lee Riches investigates. The Wells photoshopped the balloons. You know, this is what gets me, because these people call themselves investigators, right? And you guys know who Jonathan Lee Riches is. He's the guy who exploited Gabby Petito in the most disgusting way possible, along with several other really high-profile stories. So I don't really need to go into it because I'll just start yelling and screaming and I'll break my headphones again. But the thing is, who gives a shit whether they photoshopped in? Oh, by the way, you don't Photoshop in balloons. You would add them in a 3D program. Photoshop is a 2D editing program, but I could not expect any of you robots to know that. Anyway, why would you care? It doesn't mean anything. Let's just say they photoshopped every balloon within a 20-mile radius. What does that mean? It means they're really good at Photoshop. That's all it means. It doesn't mean anything else.
If he'd watched the video, he'd see there are 7.
Those balloons, I am a professional video editor, okay? I make 2D and 3D objects in video editing and in After Effects and Photoshop and Adobe Premiere all the time. I can tell you if anything is, it's very easy to tell when something has been edited in, especially by amateurs. So unless you're having Pixar Animations do it, I doubt it's really going to be done so well that no one's going to notice. So let me take a look at this clip. Correction, it's heels in the air. It was mistyped. Read her pinned comment, rockAlot. Oh, okay. Oh, did Hills do that? Okay, I take back everything I said. I take back everything I said about the robot misspelling, because Heels in the Air is a real person and she's awesome. So I mean, she's probably just autocorrect because she uses her phone, I think. So I could understand. See, this is how robots, this is why robots never get anything right, but us humans do, because we'll correct ourselves. See, when you use a phone to edit, sometimes it'll autocorrect things. So I'm sorry, Heels in the Air. I completely understand why you did that. Now, if JLR would have did this, hold on a minute. Wait a minute. What's the difference between JLR and Jonathan Lee Riches? Because they're both JLR. JLR? That's him?
Same guy. Yeah, same guy.
No! JLR that hangs out with Betty is Jonathan Lee Riches. He's the damn robot? Yeah. He's the robot? He's in control by a mad scientist? Oh my God. Is he he's friends with Betty. I haven't looked into him. I've never looked into JLR. I've looked into Jonathan Lee Riches back in the Gabby Petito investigation. But I never knew that, I could never fathom any normal person would ever ruin their own reputation by working with this idiot. So when Betty kept saying JLR and Molly kept saying JLR, I thought it was a different guy. Are you kidding me?
If he'd watched the video, he'd see there are 7 balloons.
Yeah. I don't understand this whole balloon thing. What is this weird balloon thing that this dude's on about?
So they create.
His YouTube channel is Jonathan Lee Riches, investigative reporter. He's not an investigative reporter. He's a fucking robot. A skeleton robot.
Video, it seems like, according to the description.
Tell me his eyeballs aren't the most creepy eyes you've ever seen on a man ever.
A person named Pennington.
I'm gonna zoom in. Look. Look.
Propaganda.
Oh my God, the robot's trying to eat somebody.
They're friends. A.F. Pennington, Robin Lane.
I did too. Listen, if JLR would have done it, it would have been funny. If Heels in the Air did, it wasn't funny. So I apologize to Heels in the Air. I love Heels in the Air. Heels in the Air can misspell whatever she wants.
And
I don't give a
Candace
shit.
and Don are all friends. Robin.
He diverted mail from the jail of a serial killer, saying he was his uncle. I'm not kidding. He is a freak, and that's also a felony. Like, messing with mail is like a really horrible. Like, it's a huge offense.
Lane's daughter.
If he did it.
Used to play with Summer. They know.
He's a convict. He spent 10 years and still on probation until I think June of this year, says Safari. What did he do, though? I've read about him. It's been so long, and we've covered so many stories since Gabby Petito. I can't remember it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I will. Yeah, K-Dub, if you want me to look into JLR, I'll do it. Let's go ahead and start doing it this week.
Know each other. And it's kind of none of your business that they visited her at the hospital and why.
For the fraud thing?
And Robin Lane created a video and they.
Oh, he did that? Oh my God, Rachel told me about this. So he was like doing some kind of internet scam, like trying to say that he was going to fix people's AOL computers or some shit like back in the day, and he got caught for it and charged. You know how many people did those scams back in the 90s and the 2000s and never got busted because it was the early internet. You have to be a complete robot. I was going to say idiot, but no. A complete robot to get busted for that shit.
Used a child in this video.
Again, the child used to play with Summer. He knows Candace. They filmed her going into the room. You are the propaganda, I would say king, but you've never been viral. So we'll just say propaganda is all you've ever done since about 2010, and steal from people and steal their identity. And, you know, threaten bomb threats and threaten to rape young girls. All documented. But I digress.
To bring Candace balloons to her hospital bed.
Yeah.
See, great. Now that was an excellent joke, and now I've screwed it up because I'm sorry. Go ahead, Navy.
I'm gonna say you need to rewind that back and listen to what he's been accused of doing.
Did he say it? Did she say it here?
Yeah,
Okay.
she says it. Just rewind it back.
Okay. And I see, now I feel bad because when he had done that, it was an excellent part of the robot joke. And now I've lost it. I've lost it. Damn it, man. That was such a good joke.
Robin Lane's daughter.
A person named Pennington and
Propaganda.
You know what's funny? He is wearing a hat that says media. He's just like Betty and Molly. You know? They don't have any time. They don't even understand what, and I've shown this so many times, I'm not going to go into it and bore the shit out of all of you. By the way, I've uploaded on UNIRock too, and it's the first part of this whole distraction arc from Molly and Betty and them and Heels on the Ground. Make sure that after you watch this live stream, if you want to cut out a little early, I understand, so you can watch the video on UNIRock too and share it for me, okay? Because I uploaded it late. But they don't understand ethics, and ethics is an incredibly, I would go as far as to say it might be one of the most important things that a reporter or that people that work in the field learn about. And ethics is what teaches someone how to be unbiased. It teaches them how to put into check their own political motivations, their own wants, their own narrative, their money, so that it doesn't affect the way they report on a story. So it makes perfect sense that they pretend to be media or pretend to be a reporter, and they end up proving to everybody that they have no education in the ethics of reporting. Anyone that goes out and tries to pretend to be a reporter either needs to go to college and actually learn about ethics in media, or they need to educate themselves for an exceptionally long period of time to the point where they have to be able to admit without that college education, they have no clue what they're talking about, even if they have educated themselves for years. Because when you go to school, they're going to pound it into your head. And if you don't understand the ethics of reporting and media, they're not going to give you a degree. They're not going to let you graduate. Safari says he drives around with a pillow with a pic of Adam Lanza's uncle on it. No fucking way. No.
They're friends.
No.
AF?
Adam Lanza is one of those
Sandy Hook.
really bad guys. Yeah. Really bad
Anytime.
news. Yeah.
Robin
Pretended to
Lang.
be his uncle, apparently.
Just because I messed up the joke does not mean he is a Skeletor robot controlled by some mad scientist in a research lab. The joke still applies, even though I messed
And
it up.
Candace and Dawn are all friends. Robin Lane's daughter used to play with Summer. They know each other.
So he's one of the people that's manipulated the Summer Wells case more than anyone else. So it makes perfect sense why Betty is friends with them, right?
And it's kind of none of your business that they visited her at the hospital and why.
Yeah, it's none of your business. Also, they should be filing a copyright strike on his ass just using Betty, Molly, and all of their own rules and their own words and their own, justice and all this garbage and the law and all the shit they say. He should get a strike on his channel for stealing their video and their art.
And Robin Lean created a video and they used a child.
He is a robot. Oh my God. Robin Lee created a video and used their child. He sounds like a robot voice when he
In
talks.
this video.
Again, the child used to play with Summer. She knows Candace. They filmed her going into the room. You are the propaganda.
Yes, you're the propagandist, JLR. How do you accuse people that know each other of this? Again, because you have no training in ethics. You don't even know basic ethics and how to respect other people just on the street, just in a store. How in the hell can you then know about the ethics that are required in disseminating information as if you're the media?
I would say king, but you've never been viral. So we'll just say propaganda is all you've ever done since about 2010 and steal from people.
Shit, this dude's a cockroach of, you want to talk about whether he's not been viral? He's like a cockroach of the internet. This dude's going around trying to lick the clout off the ground that drops off of other people. Way more famous than he'll ever be.
And steal their identity. And
Holy crap. Did you see what Dead just dropped at the bottom of General? This man has filed over 2,600 lawsuits.
You didn't know that? I'll talk about it real quick.
I didn't know.
Yeah. We broke this down during the Gabby Petito thing. One man filed more than 2,600 lawsuits, including one against his own mother for not taking care of him. Damn. Oh, well, hold on a minute. Is it? If you go to the judge and you're trying to get your mom in trouble for not taking care of you, is that considered a Karen? I have to think about it. I have to think about it. So JLR isn't in the Guinness Book of World Records. However, he holds the unofficial record for filing over 2,600 lawsuits since 2006. Some reports even state he may have filed up to 4,000. Most of Rich's lawsuits have been filed in federal district courts across the country, and he's known for suing almost anyone notable of repute or brand name. He's sued famous people such as U.S. President George Bush. He sued Martha Stewart, Janet Reno, Steve Jobs, and U.S. Immigration and Naturalization, just to name a few. You know what we should do? We should go pull some of his lawsuits and look at what's written in them. Because we've got another story coming up. Remember that Acer Thorn dude? He's like the second most prolific serial lawsuit filer. He just filed a brand new lawsuit against one of the YouTubers that he filed on. What was it, like a year ago? And his case got thrown out and the judge scolded him and labeled him a frivolous filer. Well, he just sued the guy again. He went in, didn't learn a thing from that first lawsuit. These motherfuckers aren't just narcissists. They are brain dead narcissists. People like JLR and Acer Thorn and Betty and these other people are brain dead. narcissists. They don't think they need a lawyer because of their narcissism and because of Dunning-Kruger. And again, the Dunning-Kruger effect is where you think you're some kind of expert or good at something when you have zero education and zero ability to understand that thing. And you are so dumb at the thing that you think you're good at. You're so bad at thinking that you're good at something that you end up, you know, looking like a fool every time you do something in that field. You can have it Dunning-Kruger scientists, Dunning-Kruger race car drivers, right? I mean, you could do it with anything. Yeah, but this dude is a convicted felon accused of wire fraud in 03. Despite this, he was suing people. He was sentenced to 10 years in federal prison in 04, and he's released in 2012. You know, that's the thing. Why are they letting people like this out early? He should never have been allowed out early because he's still doing it. He didn't learn a damn thing. He's up in prison filing lawsuits from his cell and shit instead of learning how not to come out and do this shit.
You know, threaten bomb threats and threaten to rape young girls. All documented.
Whoa. Who did?
Say Ching, but you've never been viral. So we'll just say propaganda is all you've ever done since about 2010, and steal from people and steal their identity. And, you know, threaten bomb threats and threaten to rape young girls.
He has threatened boom threats and threatened to our young girls.
All documented.
And Bullhorn Betty still works with them. Bullhorn Betty supports that shit. They said Nonsense sucked because Nonsense had to go bankrupt taking care of a sick child. So they obviously judge people if they have some old thing in their background. And they don't think JLR doing this is worth holding him to?
But I digress.
What?
To bring Candace balloons to her hospital bed.
Yes.
I can't do it, man. Let's get back to this video. We'll try to jump back to JLR in a minute. I can't listen to that freaking robot pretend to be a real human. I'm going to bring balloons to the hospital beds. Error.
Guys, I get off my butt and I know the law. As soon as you take...
I get off of my butt and I know the... If you just listen to the things that Betty says, it will entertain you. So let's rewind a few seconds and let's just repeat what she says as an intelligent person instead of a person screeching, okay? Because this really does work. I was doing this earlier today.
Here's the difference, is you can show up and have your voice be heard.
You can show up and have your voice be heard.
In person. As soon as you do...
In person. But as soon as you do...
Stuff through electronic means.
Underhanded stuff through electronic means.
You got yourself jammed up.
You'll get yourself jammed up. Bullhorn Betty 2023. I mean, it's one of the dumbest things that comes out of someone's mouth. Like, how do you say this out loud and think that you're smart or think that you're proving you know the law, for God's sake?
That is exactly. Everybody wants to sit there and say, but you can do this and you can do that. Yes.
That is exactly. But everyone wants to say that you can do this and you can do that. Yeah.
Why do you think I'm here in person and not doing it online through...
Why do you think I'm here in person and not doing it online?
Telephonic means through
telephonic means.
Digital means. I do it in person.
Through digital means. I do it in person.
Because I get off my butt and I know the law. As soon as...
Because I get off my butt and I know the law. It's like, what? What does that mean? What does that mean, Betty? Does that mean you can stalk somebody in person and it doesn't count? It's not illegal. It's not stalking. But if I do it on the telephone, oh my, you just committed a crime.
As soon as you take what we do and do it by electronic means, over the internet, by the phone, picking up the phone and calling law enforcement.
And oh my God, y'all, she said this right after Betty and Molly, or maybe it was right before, they left the voicemail on Nonsense's phone.
Right.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Cheesy says, beware if you go down JLR's rabbit hole. Do everything right. He will strike over and over and over again. Well, you know, if he wants to file, one thing's for sure, if he does try to false strike my channel in that way, one of our channels will go away. One of the two. Now, the only problem he'll have is that the YouTube account, the Google account that's attached to this channel and UNIRock 2 was made a very long time ago and has years and years and years and years of good reputation with YouTube. I've actually tested YouTube's alpha and beta projects. I was the first creator in the pool of the first creators, along with PewDiePie and others, to have gaming members and channel-wide members, okay? I've tested all of their features from their... I've actually worked with YouTube, like been first before anyone else to have those features, like where monetization, the monetization checklist feature, and I could just go on and on and on. So when you do have an old account like that that has a repertoire built up with YouTube and people try to file false strikes at you, you have ways of getting assistance from YouTube much easier than other accounts do. So I could send some emails, you know, I could reach out, you know what I'm saying? So I'll take your advice, Cheesy, and what I'll do is I'll send YouTube an email through my partner program, through my partner profile, and make sure that they know before I talk about him into any means, other than to call him a robot, which I can do as much as I want. It's not illegal or against the law to call him a damn Skeletor robot, because he is. And I'll make sure they know about him before I start my commentary, right?
Oh my God, we know they're coming out. Guess what that is? It's cyberstalking. It's cyberstalking under federal law. It's cyberstalking under state law.
Okay, so hold on. Now Betty said this kind of fast because the original clip is in 2 times speed, okay? Now what she said is, good God, man. She said if you call the police to let them know that battery chokester Betty is coming to your town with a bullhorn, you are cyber stalking by doing that. Now, I did include that clip in my upload on UNIRock 2 tonight, and what I put was a little text box in the video that says those have to be the worst stalkers ever to call the police, right? Because if you're going to call the cops and you're going to stalk somebody by calling the damn police, doesn't that make you a really bad stalker? Isn't the whole point of stalking somebody not to have anyone know what you're doing, especially the police? Now, some of you are going to be like, there's no way that an adult person with an actual brain, like with brain matter in between their ears, would say that out loud. Well, let me play it again for you.
Well, as soon as you take what we do and do it by electronic means, over the internet, by the phone, picking up the phone and calling law enforcement and saying, oh my God, we know they're coming out. Guess what that is? It's cyberstalking.
As soon as you pick up a phone and you let law enforcement, let's say they're going to go to, what's a really nice town here? Let's say they're going to go to Sacramento in a week. So somebody who has Betty's record finds out Betty and Molly are heading to Sacramento with the bullhorn and all that, and the magnifying glass and the binder, the black binder packed into a suitcase, right? So they call not, a bunch of people. They don't try to interfere with Betty and Molly's actual appointments or anything, or their hotel. They call the police and they tell the police, hey, Popo, we want you to know that Battery Betty with the bullhorn and the magnifying glass and this binder is going to come to your town, and she has a history of spitting on people and fighting with people and yelling at people, and just the town's having to change laws when she leaves so people can't do what she does anymore. Somehow letting the Popo know is cyber stalking. And I have thought about this quote all day, trying to figure out if she misspoke. Did she misspeak, Navy? Like, was she trying to say something different? I mean, obviously she couldn't mean that.
Well, I think the problem is that she's a moron. And so she tries to link these words together, because she literally said, if you do the exact same thing we do, but online, it's cyber stalking. Well, that's because what you do in real life is just called stalking.
Thank you. Yes.
They made a cyber component to the law that already exists, you dumb bridge troll, because you're doing it online.
And that's my point. Like, not only did she just admit that, is she incorrect in what she said? Right before she said this, as you just, spelled out for us, she admitted to stalking people in real life in current year, current month, current day, which is really bad for her and Molly, especially when they're being sued by a woman who they had suspended from her job, with the clips of Betty's racist garbage coming out of her mouth too. I think it's really bad.
Is cyberstalking under federal law? Is cyberstalking under state law?
Yes, that's right, Betty. You have now exercised and demonstrated your knowledge of the law by telling people that if they call the police, somehow it's cyber stalking.
And at the end of the freaking day, we do what we do lawfully because we know the law. As soon as you cross over to electronic means, that's where you get screwed up.
Okay, so let me just break this down very quickly. The reason you do it lawfully is because you know the law. Okay, fine, good, great. I'm glad we agree. Because if I can prove you don't know the law, that would mean you'd have to admit you're not lawfully doing this garbage, right? Don't say that's not the case. I mean, don't try to go against your own logic, okay? If I can show that you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to the law, then by your words, it means you can admit finally you're breaking the law by stalking, doxing, and harassing these people. Excellent.
If people want to sit there and talk about our friend, I'm not going to say his name, he did some stuff through telephonic means, and he went to jail for 10 years because he did it through telephonic means.
No, you see, again, if JLR, and you just admitted that he's your friend, which exposes many hypocritical things about you that I'm not going to call out right now. I don't have to. The people watching are smart enough to realize all of it, Betty. But the thing is, let's take away the telephone, what JLR did. See, this is the best thing you can do to these idiots. Let's take away the telephone. Let's even take away the internet. Let's pretend JLR did that fraud that he did in their homes. Is it still fraud? Yup.
Thank you, Jules.
Okay, there's a difference.
There's no difference. It's actually still fraud. Yeah.
You mean telephonic means like you leaving a voicemail for nonsense?
Definitely. Telephonic means like a telephone threat. Jessica, how did they reach adulthood being this stupid? It's mind-boggling. Some people are this stupid, and they tend to be the ones who exploit children's and adults' deaths for money. Like, you're not exploiting people's deaths and shit and clickbaiting like they do if you're smart, because smart people can make content through talking and arguments and jokes and commentary, right? Hope says, and thank you, Hope, didn't Nonsense have a friendly little message earlier this week, and that's classified as what, Betty? Yes, telephonic threats and stalking. Thank you, Hope. Exactly.
Personally doing it?
Don't you have freedom of
doing
speech?
it through, you do.
Don't you have freedom of speech? Exactly, Molly, and let me educate you on that, too. I said I was going to be a little more boring tonight and actually debunk y'all. Here it comes. Freedom of speech is the same thing as freedom of action. You are free to do certain actions. Right, Molly? Okay, pay attention, because this is going to go over your troll head, your green head here. So, let's say that you use your freedom of action to murder somebody. You're in the true crime community. What happens to murderers, Molly, when they use their freedom of action to go about and murdering someone or robbing a bank? Do they go to jail, Molly? They do? Okay. So what if you use your freedom of speech, the free action that you have, the choice to do freedom of action or say freedom of speech, the things you want to say, and you threaten to kill somebody, or you call in a bomb threat, or you go to a crowded theater or a hospital and scream fire and stuff like that, and somebody pulls the fire alarm because they're worried about all the people. Are you going to go to jail? Yes. You see, freedom of speech, freedom of action, your choice to do and say things is weighed. It is judged upon what you choose to do with that freedom. And if you choose to harm other people, whether your freedom of speech is through a telephone, or if you choose to stalk other people where you remove or violate their freedom, their right to privacy, right? Do I need to go into it even more kindergarten than I am? Do I have to Billy Madison yo ass back through elementary to 12th grade, or can I just, okay, we're good. I've made my point and debunked you fully. Great.
But whenever you take that First Amendment right and use it to harm another person, it is no longer your First Amendment right.
Yes, that's right. You don't have a right to harm other people, defraud other people, lie to other people, slander other people. Some of these things are minor crimes, and depending on where you do them and how, you might get away with them, but you're still being a criminal. Can we agree? Okay, we can. Great, because these are facts.
Janie made a good point. He says, seems Betty is so stupid she doesn't know that telephoning or telephoning is not cyber anything.
No, yeah, telephonic. Oh, I know she doesn't. I don't even think she knows what the word telephonic means.
When you do it online, when you sit there and follow somebody on their social media, and then your intent is to harm them personally, professionally, or physically, you have now crossed the line into a legality problem.
No, you haven't. You are so uneducated that it hurts. JLR's robot brain starts to smoke when you're near it, I'm sure. Listen, if I say something and it harms your business, is it against the law? Is it defamation? Is it stalking? Oh, it's not? If it's true? Oh, wow. Okay, good. I'm glad that we can agree, because if there's a murmurer out there that gets out of jail tomorrow and threatens to murmur someone, then I think I can go online and talk about it and give my opinion on it, right? Oh, great. As long as I'm honest about it, good. What about someone who choked somebody almost within an inch of their life and then goes around threatening to, dox and tell people these open threats? I'm forgetting what her threat against Nonsense was, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
Because you didn't call her back, things are going to get worse for her.
Going to get worse for her. And because getting worse includes being choked to death, and you have a literal propensity to do that to someone, yes, it's not slander, defamation. It's not injuring your business or anything. Now, when you lie, when you have a Karen breakdown, when you screech on Molly's stream like this, and then we pull the clip and we either joke or laugh, or maybe we'll just make fun of you or whatever. Yeah, this isn't slander. It's not defamation. You need to go back to law school. I'm starting to think that degree hanging on your wall is either fake or it's from the JLR Internet College Program, where JLR invents legal programs and sends it to people so he can charge them $6,000 a month for those illegal programs. And I think if I were to read JLR's legal program, that would be similar to his AOL scam that he was doing, like, where he was going to repair people's computers, but just ended up fucking them up and taking all their money and running away. You see what I'm saying? You got to be careful where you go to college online, Betty. A lot of places that are located in foreign countries that have no credibility to them whatsoever, they're going to lie and give you just a bunch of bullshit they wrote down to get your money out of your pocket if you paid them in the first place and didn't just print that out.
And people are not understanding that, but you are about to find out.
I understand all of this. You see, unlike you, people like myself, Burnt Toast, and others that have been on this platform for a long time, we do have conversations with our lawyers. We do have conversations with YouTube. We do watch YouTube's, creator studio videos, of which there are many of them. I can't tell you the amount of hours I've spent watching every single one of those creator videos that YouTube puts out, constantly evolving them and changing them to update their rules, to update their instructions. And if you would watch these, maybe you would gain a base of knowledge that would help you understand when someone is lying or whether someone's breaking the rules or not. This is where we gain the base of our commentary and the base of being able to draw crowds by speaking like we do. Now, admittedly, this is going to be a little more boring of a stream. If I was just laughing and joking the whole time, I could probably get more people to watch, but I'm sick and tired of laughing at you, and I'm ready to debunk you tonight, so I'm going to get froggy. Let's get froggy.
You will find out very, very soon. And I'm telling you guys that because it's not an idle threat. It's because I really...
No, I don't think you're threatening me at all. You have proven that you have no knowledge of what you're talking about and that you're just angry and pouring shit out of your mouth. I'm not threatened by people that do that.
Don't want things happening.
I would be threatened if you actually knew what you were talking about and then criticized me in a way that was effective or real or evidence. Then maybe I would consider. Now, here's the issue you have, Betty. I know that if I do say something incorrect before you can even take me to court and sue me, I have an opportunity to correct what I've said and actually show that I'm operating in good faith because I've actually studied these things, unlike you.
Realize you guys don't understand the law. I have given you guys a year and a half of freedom. If you think I'm going to
I've only been talking about you for under a month, so you can fuck off.
go another year and a half, you were wrong because I have a statute of limitations in order to make sure you pay for your crimes.
We're not committing crimes against you. You're just a Karen.
You're, at this point, it's a make or break moment.
You better be careful. You're going to go on the binder.
I'm already in that binder, man. I bet you $1 million. I'm not the only one in there. My assistant's in there too. He's driving motorboats. He's arguing with hookers. I mean, all of the things he's ever done is in that binder, just like me.
And I'm done. She's done.
Getting himself caught in snow globes.
See, do you know what the problem is with someone like Betty and Molly? I actually have gained, this is really hard for me to admit, but I do have to be honest with my audience, so this is really going to shock some of you. Hold on, let me take a drink before saying this. I've actually gained the slightest bit of respect for Molly in watching this video. I've lost respect for her in many ways too, so it kind of still is in a negative. But this tiny little bit of respect, when I saw her sitting there with that look on her face while Betty was having a screeching fit, I thought it was pretty funny. I mean, look at Betty all angry and flipping out and wanting to choke like 7 babies and shit. And she's over here just completely bored. You know, Molly, I can give you just only two very light claps for that. Thank you. Let's move on.
Our crew is done. And if you don't think you're going to be held accountable, you're wrong. And then once you're held accountable legally, you're going to be hit with a civil lawsuit.
You can threaten me, Nonsense, Toasty, all you want. Because I know for a fact that at least we have followed not only we respect, and I know you're not going to believe this, but it's true. We even respect your rights. Even people that we don't like, we respect their rights, because when you don't respect another person's rights, it makes you a shitty person. So even if I don't like you, I'm going to respect your rights. You know why? Because I went to war and fought for your rights. I already learned how to reconcile the fact that when I went over there and did what happened, that I was fighting for the rights of everyone I liked and everyone I didn't like. And you know what? I'm fine with that. And I'm fine respecting the fact of you and Molly's rights. Though you're constantly taking away other people's rights. You're constantly stepping on other people's rights. And because of that, yes, you're a shitty person.
And everybody knows I do back up what I say. We've already taken...
No, you don't back up what you say. You see, the reason you keep saying everybody knows before you say these things, and the reason that you keep running your mouth like this is because you're lying. You're just triggered. Take a breath, calm down, find a squirrel or a couple deer to out back of your house to choke to death, and maybe you'll calm down a little bit.
A few content creators...
You have.
A few content creators...
They don't know that.
No, you haven't. I looked into this, that you have taken a couple content creators to court. You settled with one of them, and the other one is still on the platform doing what they've always done. You're lying again. Now, here's what you do, because you can do this, you know. You could prove through the court record that doesn't exist from what I've looked at, and you could prove through doing a video that respects the rights of the person you took to court, document the truth of what happened, and prove what you had to do and what happened. You have the right to do this, Betty. And if you want us to think that you actually took anyone to court for anything and came out the other side winning to any degree, you can at least tell us where to find it. I'll tell you what, I'll do you a favor. You tell me who it was, where you took them to court. I'll pull the court record and I'll do a video on it that will actually document and truthfully show everything that happened. But the problem is, if I do that, I'm going to know if you're lying or not, right? So, sorry, not believing you. I don't believe you.
No, they do not. And they have had to pay financially.
No, they didn't. You settled. They didn't have to pay anything. You made a deal that if they stopped talking about you, you'd drop it all. And they did. I don't know why they did. I think it's because maybe they went too far on one of their videos making fun of you or something, and they felt that you might be able to argue something. And so they let you basically win, and they let you win by, again, this isn't winning. This is just making a deal with you. Hey, I'll stop talking about you. Let's drop this shit. And that's not you coming out the other side a winner because you wanted money, you wanted their channel deleted, you wanted them to never upload again. You didn't get any of that. See, when you look to see if you win a lawsuit, I've had to say this many times, and a lot of people that have filed lawsuits against other YouTubers out there just don't seem to get this. You're actually hurting yourself when you go into your lawsuit wanting a bunch of extreme shit. Because if you don't get what you wanted going in, then you're going to be the one that looks at as the one that lost. And so, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, but we have ways of fact checking you. I don't want anyone to trust me. And I've never wanted anyone to trust me because it's not even the basis of this show to any degree. We go in and look at a subject and we look at the facts on both sides and we fact check everything that's there, debunk things that are there, and come out with the truth on the other side and give an opinion on it. Nobody has to trust me. You won't be trusted by anybody. You not only because you're a pathological lying narcissist, threatening keyboard warrior, crazy person, choking person, but because you lie so much, and because if what you were saying is true, you'd be able to prove it.
They've had to take their channels completely and utterly down.
Not true at all. Both of them are up. The only two that are out there that I can find are up right now.
So, you know, I may not be broadcasting what we're doing behind the scenes, but if these people do not understand, we are.
Molly is just, either you've got Molly fooled. Sometimes I think Molly is just too dumb for her own good and too trusting. Not with most people, but with you guys. Because I think she might actually believe that you did do this, and some part of this is true to some degree. I could even name the two YouTubers that you sued, and you could go to look their channels up and see that they are there right now. And it's funny because didn't you say there were two of them? So how am I wrong? Like, how is the court record wrong, Betty? How? Anyway, Molly seems as if she kind of does believe Betty. Like, Betty might be actually pulling something over Molly's eyes here, but who knows?
They're getting them one by one, and they're lying to each and every one of you, thinking that all they're doing is building up.
Who is lying? I have watched every single person that I've watched, even Heels in the Air and most of the clip channels, all source you. So when they say anything, they are saying something in response to what you've said. So therefore, if we're lying, which would mean you don't know the definition of lying, because we wouldn't be. We would be thinking that what you said you meant when we repeated it, right? Anyway, though, if we're spreading false information, then it means that you're the one lying because we're sourcing you. How do you not get this? How do you not understand how when we react to you, we're protecting ourselves? And we are actually, when we play your clip, when we show what you've said, we are respecting you. We're showing the truth. We're showing what you said and what you did as a respect to the original source. And we're giving our opinion and our take on it. So no, you're full of shit.
Smaller channels, because they can't go on with their channel. So now they're going underneath and trying to do it underhandedly. And
Oh, this is good. So, okay, now, Betty, I have already uploaded a video on Molly. Throughout all of me talking about Molly, I would go live over here on rockAlot with the content that's not going to grow my channel, right? Me doing long form content is not smart in me growing my channel. But what is edited videos that are highly edited, highly prepared, highly researched, highly written, right? That's what grows your channel, because when masses of people don't have the time to watch live streams, the smaller group does. So I don't want long live streams on UNIRock too. It just sucks. It's just a smart business decision. And that's why I do them here on rockAlot. I know she's talking about me here. I'm the only one that fits this descriptor. She just said, what? Say it again for the people, because I want to fully respond to this garbage.
Building up smaller channels. Are getting them one by one, and they're lying to each and every one of you, thinking that all they're doing is building up smaller channels.
All we're doing is building up smaller channels. I've looked around. I can't find a bigger YouTuber like myself who has a smaller channel like rockAlot where they do their longer live streams talking about them. I can't find it. They might exist. I just haven't found them. So I do think she's talking about me. So I'm going to speak on this a little bit. Number one, I know I don't upload to UNIRock 2 a lot. I should be though, and the only reason I don't is because unlike the lies you tell about me, I do have a family. I do have kids. They live with me. I take care of them, all that stuff. So yes, I've been a little busy lately. Now, that besides the point, I've actually sat down and talked to the kids a little bit, letting them know, like, listen, we got to plan what we're doing more, because you can't just call me 9 times a day wanting a ride or wanting me to do this, because I'm going to have to work. Work is important if we want, you know, to have more money coming into the family and stuff. And so they're older now. They're getting this stuff. And I'm going to be uploading more. So my point is, though, if you look through the Dre criticism, through the Molly criticism, I would summarize the live streams into an upload that would be more watchable, that would be more entertaining. You feel me? You feel me, Betty? So actually, I just did it today. I just uploaded a video today on UNIRock 2. I hope all of you go watch it after this. Let me show it to you really quick. It should be right on my front screen over here. I just
so for the last few days
before the stream right here
for you,
kind of like covering some of the same stuff. In fact, Betty, I'm going to hook you up. I'm going to kind of show the people the difference between one of my live streams and one of my uploads just by giving you a small preview of the upload on UNIRock 2 that's there right now. Take a quick look. Here we go, Betty. I'm going to help educate you a little bit. We have today for you the story of the ultimate Karening that ever happened on YouTube.
No, that's my husband. That's my account. How can I get in touch with the delivery?
Ma'am, come on. Let me come on.
How can I get in touch with the delivery service?
Hey guys, look, Betty is dressed up just like
you were
this
very
person.
kind. Oh my God.
But what led to this Karening? And is YouTube going to do anything about some of the things I'm going to show you?
I'm sorry.
Sit back and relax while we document internet history.
Wow. She said she hates her job?
This situation is a little more complex. First off, would YouTube be okay with the YouTubers you saw in that furniture store calling and leaving a threatening voicemail on another YouTuber that criticizes them?
Rebecca,
Okay. Y'all get the point, right? Thank you, Nada. Thank you. So you get the point. The uploads to UNIRock 2, if I was to go to UNIRock 2, which I am going to go live there just to appease your bullshit, Betty, for a stream, if not a couple. But anyway, if I was to go to UNIRock 2, Daily says, thank you for getting this out. What don't they get? It's the dishonesty, not Daily. The dishonesty builds up into a narrative, and they don't track the narrative. And because they're not smart enough to track what they say from minute to minute, let alone hour to hour or day to day, and because they're not good at what they do, they haven't been educating themselves for many years. They're not good at preparing this kind of stuff. It builds into false narratives, and it makes them look stupid. So, you know, maybe they'll get embarrassed enough by the commentary against them over the next couple months that they'll stop doing this and go back to just trying to be normal YouTubers, if that's possible. I don't think it's possible for them, but so my bigger channel, UNIRock 2, if I just went live there all the time, it wouldn't be as big as it is. Okay, my main channel, which I don't even upload to anymore, and by the way, I stopped uploading to it in like 2018, so no, you can't say that it relates to you to any degree. It was because of demonetization that I switched content and stopped uploading there. All of my bigger channels exist because I actually spent a lot of time editing and scripting and uploading videos, and did it for years and years and years every day until I got better at it. So if I was to just go live there, many of the people that are subbed there because they want watchable content would unsub, or they just wouldn't watch. It'd be bad for my channel. Now, I don't know why a businesswoman who understands business and the law might not be able to look at the fabric of YouTube and see how larger groups of people are going to want to watch smaller, more kind of like entertaining, packed together videos than a live stream. I don't know how you don't realize this if you're so smart, Betty. Maybe you're not so smart, right? But anyway, so the point is, you may think that the reason I'm on rockAlot is to build up a smaller channel, but wouldn't I be damaging myself or something if I was skipping UNIRock 2 to come here? The people that subbed here, right, wouldn't end up being over there where I make all my money or whatever the hell you're trying to say or some shit. And nothing that comes out of your mouth makes sense if you just think about it for 4 seconds. The truth of the matter is, it is smart right now with the way YouTube is to have several channels. Look at Asmongold. Asmongold is a Twitch streamer. He's got a main YouTube account with millions of followers where he uploads all of his main content to, and he has like either 1 or even 2 clip channels. Because if you upload more than like 3 to 5 videos, YouTube stops putting out notifications after like 2 or 3. So if people put out 9 or 10 clips a day of their Twitch content, they need 2 or even 3 clip channels. So you just don't understand YouTube. I mean, I get it. You don't seem to be, you know, YouTube material, but still, you're just kind of dumb with the way you're coming across here. I'm just being real.
Because they can't go on with their channel, so now they're going underneath and trying to do it underhandedly. And one.
But you're saying I can't go on with my channel. Then why is my channel bigger than yours by almost twice as much? Why has my channel been around much longer than you've been on the platform? Why do I have millions and millions and millions of views every year? Like, what are you talking about?
One by one, they will start going away, even the anonymous people. Because
no channels are going to go away. That's not happening. You're not going to go around false striking channels down because you finally have the attention of YouTubers that can actually get a hold of people with bigger channels that'll actually step in and help if you start pushing them around. If you know any channels that these people false strike down like Kool-Aids, let us know because you're going to be the one that's wearing those strikes on your channel when we get done with everything because you're false striking these channels. These channels are fair use. If you are fair use, there is no other thing. You either are fair use or you aren't fair use. There's no, well, they're kind of fair use, so I'm going to strike them. Actually, that's not how it works. So sorry. Go to freaking school. Teach yourself the law. Actually, then maybe you'll get this.
Even the most infamous anonymous person is about to be exposed, and she's lying to you.
The most infamous anonymous person. What was that? Say that again for me, Miss Doxalot.
Because even the most infamous anonymous person is about to be exposed.
Yeah, ouch. Thank you. Thank you, Molly, for trying to communicate to Betty how much this hurts the things she says. You are now admitting you are doxing more anonymous people than you want to admit. People should be allowed to be anonymous on YouTube. Look into the terms of service if you don't believe me. So are you admitting you've been out there trying to unmask anonymous people and dox them? Because that's against terms of service, Betty. That can get your channel taken down.
And she's lying to you. She knows it's coming.
Ouch.
And she...
Ooh, are you talking about nonsense? Nonsense is not going anywhere. Nonsense has the advice of people that have been around a very long time, and she is beyond fair use, and you know it. She is so far into fair use territory, I barely ever see her ever put video on her screen so that you can't make an argument that she's stealing your content.
She is just sitting there acting like nothing is going on behind the scenes, and she is like really under...
What, is Walter underneath the desk punching you in the leg or something? Is he trying to get your attention, short little Walter? Is he, mommy, pay attention to me? Is that what's going on? Why do you keep saying ouch?
No crunch time here. And if you notice, that channel has been talking about somebody else. Occasionally she'll throw a VHV video in there.
No, she has never targeted you. You're just lying. This is why you're such a lolcow. This is why you are looked at as such a fool. How do you convince yourself of these narratives? I've actually watched Nonsense's content. It's hard for me to catch a lot of it, but I've been catching it, right? Because she does a lot of streaming. And she barely... You've only been brought up if you're involved in Molly's shenanigans. And she's talking about Molly because she was talking about the Marvon situation, and Molly was the crux of that scam. And it is a scam. Letitia has been gone more than enough time that you all should be calling it a scam if you weren't part of the scam. So sorry, get up and start getting Letitia on your channel and get her to explain where that money is with some proof, or stop crying that you all have been known as running a huge scam on the platform. And by that way, how long do we have a statute of limitations on that scam? Betty, you want to tell Molly? Hey, Betty, you want to tell Molly about how long we have to turn her into YouTube for the scam that she perpetrated upon all those people? You want to maybe let Letitia know how long the statute of limitations is for that scam? You want to let her know?
Think about where she came from and where she's at now. Don't
Live
think that what
chat
we're doing
telling
behind
us
the
Betty's talking about burnt toast.
She probably is, but you know.
and don't think what we're doing behind the scenes is not working.
I mean, it just seems as if she's talking about nonsense because she started doing this when she started to bring up nonsense. So
They may be acting like it's not working, but there are a few of them
just in case.
that have just clammed up, and there's a reason. And you should
Well, burnt toast. See, this is why I didn't think she was talking about burnt toast, because burnt toast hasn't stopped talking about Betty at all. I just went and looked because I was sourcing burnt toast for the upload on UNIRock 2. She's been talking about Betty regularly. Like, you can go back a week, you can go back like 4 weeks. I mean, I just looked at it. So she hasn't stopped. It's crazy if she is talking about Toasty, because she's saying a lot of stuff that's just a straight lie about Toasty. Now, I know Betty's a pathological lying narcissist, so I get it. She could be talking about Toasty.
You should be very careful if you have money or a career, because I do like people.
You're not scaring us with your smug ass, Karen ass attitudes. Do we need to pretend? Do we need to act like you? Do we need to actually act like you for a minute? Because I can do it real quick. You want me to? Okay, I'm going to act like you guys for 2 seconds. I've got hard evidence that both of you have been doxing a lot of people. And you slipped up a lot, y'all. Betty and Molly. How many times did you slip up and admit to doxing those people on your own platforms, huh? Well, gee, I wonder if maybe we should start treating you two like you're talking about treating these other creators. Maybe we should inform YouTube about all the doxings you've been up to. Maybe we should actually do something about you Betty, when it comes to all these doxes, because we haven't turned her in for this. We turned in Molly for a lot of the doxes. So, by the way, Molly has doxed a lot more people since we did that. Nonsense's dox hasn't even been turned into YouTube yet. Molly. And gee, I wonder about those people that you doxed. And I wonder about those people you're filing false strikes against. Maybe we could help them and actually get them a way to be able to sue you in court for the false strikes that you filed, thus affecting their income. And maybe get them some of that. I hope you have some money put up, Molly. Or maybe you are going to miss your YouTube channels once you have all those strikes finally catch up with you. Because last time I checked, let's just pretend for a minute, you two, that you actually are going to get a strike for every time you deserved it. So Toasty, me, Nonsense, Betty, and Molly all get a strike every time they deserved it. So how many strikes does Toasty get? 0, I checked today. Nonsense, I watch her content all the time. 0 strikes. She has not broke the rules once. She's not even breaking terms of copyright. What about myself? 0. I'm extremely tame in the realm of when it comes to making jokes. There's a lot of people that insult people's looks, make jokes off of people's weight and stuff like that. I avoid all those things because, of course, I don't want people making arguments to YouTube at all based on any of those things. So I'm 0 strikes for me. You're welcome, you two, to go into every bit of my content, which every single video is public that I've done. And you're welcome to go in and look through every one of them and make an argument where I deserve a strike. I'm going to tell you now, 0 strikes. Now, hold on a minute. If I'm going to think about how many strikes, let's start with Betty. Like, I'm being realistic, so I want to just give me a second because I'm being realistic. I can think of 12 that you aren't struck for, that you absolutely deserve to be struck for. And I mean, no argument about it. Straight up take the terms of service, take what you did, read the terms of service. Yeah, there's at least 12 that I know of. And I don't even know that much about you, Betty. Molly, she's probably got like 40 some. And I mean that because of all those doxes she did around the Letitia Fraudrazer, mixed in with a lot of the other stuff she's done. You've never been struck for these things. And you know what's crazy? I can go in and look at many of the clip channels, many other live streamers, many other people out there, and I would have to look through every bit of their content with a fine-tooth comb to even come up with hardly anything I could even make an argument they deserve a strike for. People like Queen Bee and Nick and all them, no strikes. And that's funny because you two are getting away with it over and over and over again. And you know what you're doing by acting like this? You're starting to get people really fucking pissed. They're wanting some justice on these streets. And if justice means none of us go down, and justice means you two go down. Damn, that might explain why Molly's last video where she was sitting in that hotel room contains a segment we're going to watch in a second because we didn't get to it the other night, where she's begging people not to delete her channel, talking about how you're not going to make money talking about me if I get deleted. You know, Betty, I even think Molly knows that she could be deleted in a heartbeat if her enemies were even 1/10 as dirty as you two are. 1/100th. If we were 1/100th as dirty as either of you, both of you would already be gone by now. But you want to know the crazy thing? It's not dirty because you two deserve it. You two deserve to start getting strikes when you dox and when you threaten and when you leave voicemails and when you go at people and when you're doing the dumb shit you do. How about the scams? I just was looking at YouTube's terms of service today, y'all. I ought to show it to you here tomorrow. I ought to get it all clipped up and ready for you and show it to you, because YouTube was just in our studio giving us a breakdown. I'm going to try to pull it up really quick. I'd have to upload. So I saw it when I uploaded, and it was in the checklist. Now, again, I go live all the time, so I hadn't seen this new checklist system that YouTube added to the uploads. One of the bigger things that they have expanded upon is false information, misleading information attached to tragedies. And unlike you, Betty, you could fact check me on this because YouTube published all of this publicly to everyone, not just in our studios when we upload. So, you know, I don't. If I were you two, I'd be worrying because it seems like YouTube's already trying to work on getting rid of your asses.
People with lots of money. I mean, you know, there's a reason why my light bills are still staying on. You know, they will tell you that. They will.
Hold on. The reason your light bills are staying on is because you've sued people and won lawsuits against other YouTubers. Say this again. That's what you said.
That have just clammed up, and there's a reason.
And you should be very careful if you have money or a career.
Because I do like people with lots of money. I mean, you know, there's a reason why my light bills are still staying on.
Oh, no, you're saying you like to screw, like bang people with lots of money. Oh, I see. You're talking about prostitution? That's what it sounded like. That makes sense.
You know, they will tell you that. They won't.
Oh, no, that's gross. She was talking about showing her boobies. Her and Molly were streaming. No, swear to God, listen to this. So earlier I was getting clips for the show. I purposely chose not to bring this on tonight's stream because I didn't want to make everybody vomit, because Betty started to talk about boobs. Next thing you know, Molly's talking about boobs, and then Betty talks about showing her boobs because Molly showed her boobs. Next thing I know, I'm cleaning my freaking carpet because I just vomited everywhere, and I don't want my audience to throw up all over their living rooms or wherever you are. So I chose not to pull that clip. I did you a favor. You should donate to paypal.me/UNIRock because I did you that favor.
They won't tell you that. They won't tell you that they've been at war with me. They won't tell you they've been fighting with me. They won't.
I did gag though. Yeah, I'm exaggerating. I didn't upchuck, but I did gag, and I did have to be like, let me just act it out for you. And the reason I got sick, I was thinking of two pancakes battling each other while someone was jogging, Betty.
They'll tell you that I just took a lot of money out of their pockets. They won't tell you that. They're going to tell you, oh, she's a liar, she's a con man, she's this, she's that. Okay,
Yeah, Bullhorn Betty's a con artist because she has a wish list.
No, Betty is a con artist because she uploads fake information about the Idaho tragedy that was very fact-checkably fake, right? Other YouTubers do videos notifying her that she's lying and that it's fake and shows the source of where it actually came from. And she leaves the video up because it's getting clicks, making ad revenue. That's just one reason why she's a con artist. Let me help you with a couple more just because I would love to break this down. Because I heard Betty, they have no filter or inner thoughts. Wow. Oh, I know. Trust me. When they start lying, they feed off each other's lies. They feed off each other's performance. I'm getting a little spicy tonight, but I warned you all I would, damn it. I'm telling you, when I edit, I get spicier. So how about the con that Betty runs where she likes to lie about the law, lie about copyright law, lie about terms of service, just outright lie, okay? And then brings up how because she travels to a place, and then we'll talk about how she needs all this money to travel to these places in order to try to elicit more and more donations than other people would get. from her audience because it's a con, it's a scam. Because what she's saying about why she needs those donos and why she needs more money than other people to do what she is doing is false. And she's been corrected. People have explained this to her. People have proven this to her. Yet, she'll continue to do it on almost, if not a daily basis, every other day. Every other clip of Betty includes a segment, every other live stream, where she's talking about how her channel is different than all the other YouTubers because she travels to the location and yada yada. That's a scam. Do I need to break down more of her scams? I don't. Okay, good. I don't want to. I don't feel
That's the new
like it.
one. Yeah, I'm a con person because I have a thank you wish list.
And this is just a form of narcissism. It's a form of lying. It's bring up something that Betty is doing that all other YouTubers are fine to do, which is to have a wish list on Amazon and say, if you don't want to donate to me, but you want to buy something on my wish list, you can do it. And then act like that's why people are outraged instead of acting like the real reason they are. It's just another dishonest tactic. And again, I told you I'd be a little boring today, if you don't recall. I'm actually feeling like I might break down and explain some of their other dishonest tactics.
It's so transparent. It's like a glass door. So the grifter that I am, because you guys are so stupid, you guys can't.
You're not on your channel saying this. You should be. If you were on your channel, maybe it would apply, but I think there's a reason you're not saying this on your own
Think for
channel.
yourself, and good God.
Rachel says in the live chat that, did you know that Betty has a wedding wish list up on Amazon saying that her name is marrying Bullhorn Betty? That should be illegal.
Yeah, that's a grift. See, that's what these people do. Yes. That they could just make a normal wish list. They don't need to have a wedding wish list or whatever it is. And again, this is part of their grift. It's part of the dishonesty. It's part of the lies. And I'm sure if you look into it, there'll be a reason. Maybe you don't have to pay taxes for wedding gifts or something. Who fucking knows why? Because you would have to pay taxes, or you'd have to at least claim what you got on your as revenue on your business, correct? Maybe that's why. I'm sure there's a reason, is what I'm saying, for why she's doing that. Why she's doing it that way. I'm sure there's a reason.
Make you buy anything off my wish list. Did you know my mother purchased something?
Betty said she would follow Fasha on all forms of social media for any sign of her future employment and notify them of her bad racist behavior. I'd say that's stalking and causing financial issues. Definitely. Definitely, Pippi. Yes. It is stalking. It is not only cyber stalking, but it's actual stalking because it involves a person she met in real life. And Betty is so, it's honestly, I'm not going to, this is not an insult. This is the truth. Betty is too stupid to understand that stalking is stalking and that cyber stalking is just a form of stalking through another medium. And in fact, cases of stalking, if Betty was an actual reporter or media or true crimer or anything that involved an IQ above 40, she would know that actual stalking cases typically involve many different mediums of stalking. So you will know a person in real life. You will use forms of social media, the telephone, the internet, and all these other mediums to be able to spy or to follow or to harass and stalk the person who is the real world target of stalking. Thus why the charges and the difference between stalking and cyber stalking is nothing. Again, she says these things so that she can try to just create an out for herself, but it's all pure fantasy because she doesn't stalk people just through real life like she wants to claim. She actually sits and stalks people on her computer and meets the criteria for all of her. So if she really believed that she was that people who follow other people around or whatever the hell she says about cyber stalking equated to cyber stalking, she would tell you all that she is a cyber stalker if she believed it. Again, she's lying on all forms and all faces of this argument. And again, they don't believe, I'm sorry, no, nothing about belief. They don't understand even the basis of dishonesty. And you see this problem with Molly, Betty, Chronicles of Olivia, and the woman from yesterday. Oh shit. House of Williams. See, when I communicate information to you, if I'm being dishonest, it doesn't matter how I word it. It doesn't matter the form of my sentence. I mean, it does if I'm going to communicate to you honestly, right? But let's say that Betty is trying to say, I don't stalk people, because stalking is stalking somebody using a phone, right? Betty is being dishonest regardless of how she's communicating this, like Chronicles of Olivia. Chronicles of Olivia will sit there and act like this person whom she's pulling an interview from is being honest, and she'll give these sentences where she'll say, oh, I believe her because of this, this, and this, right? But if you actually look at how she worded it, she's not even really saying she believes the person. She's saying, I believe this, or I believe this, or I believe this. It's called semantics. It's called forming sentences and words so that if somebody accuses you of lying, you can deny that you are lying and pretend you were telling the truth, right? Okay, here's an example. When Molly was telling the person at the hardware or the furniture store, remember? Hold on, Justice. I'll get that in 2 seconds. Actually, I'll do it now. Toasty is supposed to drop something huge tomorrow about Betty. Excellent. I will be ready. I'm going to be waiting and ready. I will make sure to follow and set a reminder for her live stream. But you recall the furniture store. Molly told the furniture store lady that she said, I spoke to you on the phone and you were being rude on the phone. And Molly tried to say, I wasn't rude to you on the phone. And she said, well, I spoke to you on the phone. Aren't you the homeowner? And she said, well, I'm a homeowner, but I didn't speak to you on the phone. Well, Molly admitted that Walter turned on the speakerphone and that Molly, Walter, and Betty all talked to the person that was on the speakerphone. Thus, Molly was lying when she was at the furniture store, but she was doing it semantically. She was trying to say her sentences in a way so that she could lie to the person at the furniture store. But if the person at the furniture store called her on that lie, she could say, I didn't lie because I wasn't holding the phone. It's called semantics, okay? It doesn't matter if you form your semantics or use semantics in a way that you can be dishonest with someone and say you're not lying or something. Being dishonest is in the way you deliver information. It's whether you are trying to convey to the person an honest response. Are you being honest at the bottom line, right? And again, I shouldn't have to explain this. This is very preschool, or this is very elementary school level of explanation. But these people are getting so desperate that they're having to use children's tactics and trying to not be caught with their hand in the cookie jar due to how exposed they are. And because of that, now we're having to sit here and expose them in almost the most primary basic levels. You're still a liar, Betty, even if you want to cook up the most giant thing and word your words in the most perfect way. If you're lying, you're still lying. If you're being honest, it's very easy to tell. And you're not being honest.
Off my wish list. Mom, you should be careful. I'm a grifter. I'm robbing you blind, don't you know?
You probably are, because you said that you put your mom's name on your YouTube so that you're keeping the money from it when legally she should be keeping all that money. Well, I'm on that. Well, then set yourself as an employee of your mother's. Give your mother 50% of the revenue and pay yourself as an employee if you're going to use her name as the business owner on YouTube. You technically are robbing your mom blind. It's probably why you said this. But if you want to be able to say you're not robbing your mom blind, then take your mom off your YouTube account and put your damn name on it.
Anyways, guys, I love you. God bless. I need a shower. I've been up like 5 hours earlier.
You saying God bless is fine with me, because demons will constantly go around trying to fool people into thinking that they are religious by saying God bless and stuff like that. But the day your eyes close and you wake up in a very hot place with these crazy evil figures poking you with these pointy sticks and stuff like that in hell, don't start crying for those YouTubers to help you. Don't start crying for God to help you, okay?
She said, what time did you get up? I said 4. She's like, you went to bed at 11. I'm like, I can't.
I don't believe you got up at 4. And if you did, I probably think it's because you didn't go to bed in the first place. It's probably the reason why you were rambling so much and why you and Molly were both scratching your noses constantly, but who knows? It
is what it is. So if you see me the way I am, it's because I'm extremely exhausted. I'm tired. I worked my butt off. And when I put my pants on, there's a stain on it.
I've heard she's on Social Security, so she can't have that kind of income. Well, see, that's what's nice about being a disabled veteran. you know, injured in the line of duty in the military, because I can make as much as I make at any job I work, and I can still have all of my disability. I don't have to, you know, worry about that. It's not a factor, you know. But the thing is, it's based on how you've become disabled. If you become disabled in the line of work and it's out of your control, or it's nothing that you yourself are choosing, what I've been told is that that's what the difference between when, like, someone who is like fully disabled and can't work, but they find another way to make an income and it doesn't take away from their income, that factors into Social Security too. There is a form of Social Security where you can make as much money as you want to make. Other forms of Social Security, which is the most common form, you have to claim the amount of money you make against Social Security. And it typically will factor into, like, if you have substance abuse, mental health issues, or something like that, where something you're doing could maybe be a cause or be a factor to the level of your inability to work, if you picked up on what I just said. But anyway, the point is, if she is disabled in a way that the reason she's put her YouTube channel income into her mother's name is so that she can still collect her check while she is pulling in all this YouTube money so that it doesn't affect her Social Security, we all should be very thankful for that, because I know something, and that's that what she has done to other people, and I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about people out in the YouTube sphere. She has done such evil things to other people. This woman has done such nasty, evil things to other people that they have vowed that when she goes to exploit a tragedy, they're going to notify the police in that area. That if she goes to, like, if this Social Security thing is true about her, they have vowed to make sure that she's not ripping off Social Security. Now, I would never do anything like that again. I'm just here to do a show and report things. The most I will ever do is to try to help a YouTuber who's being bullied, attacked, or harassed by another YouTuber report things to YouTube. That's all I'll ever do. But I am comfortable, I am glad that in the example of Bullhorn Betty, that she has people out there who are going to make sure that she's not, because she tells on herself, right? It's not the people's fault who are going to make sure that she's reported to Social Security and checked on for this, because Betty is the one who told people that she was on Social Security in her old video and then deleted it, as people will say online. And then Betty told people in a video that's still public that her mother's name is on her YouTube. She's the one that said all of this garbage, according to the internet. And if she was just an honest person and she didn't dox people, nobody would give a fuck. If she wants to roll the dice and try to make an income and con people through that way, right? I don't think people on the internet would give a fuck if she was just out making normal YouTube videos. As in, I'm trying to say, if you're an adult and what you're doing is harming you and this has a possibility of harming you, a lot of people aren't going to go out of their way to report you or to care or to dig into you. But the reason, and another thing that Betty doesn't take responsibility for, and this is a huge factor to the amount of a narcissist and the amount of a con she is that one of the main reasons why people call the police when she's going into other places has nothing to do with her record of assaulting people. I'm sure, wait, I said that wrong. It has little to do with her record of assaulting people. It does have to do with the record, just very little. One of the main reasons that some people have vowed to make sure that when Betty goes to a new place, the police know, is because Betty has threatened them viciously and has doxed them viciously, right? And so if you know Betty has a propensity when she does threaten people and dox people and go after people to physically harm them, like she has in the past, almost killing people through battery and strangulation, and you know she's going into a new town, and you are a person who has firsthand knowledge that she's still acting this way, some people feel that if they were just to sit on their hands and not call and not try to warn people about her, that if Betty ends up wilding out and choking a baby in the town that she's protesting in, it's going to be on them because they knew she was still like this. They were one of the few people who had this knowledge and they didn't call and do anything. So she tries to frame it as if it's stalking when it's not. And it's a way to defame and further victimize people whom she has victimized in the past. Now, I'm not even going into another massive part of this whole thing, which is if you're out doxing the living shit out of people, how in the hell are you such a Karen crybaby when someone comes at you? Because I don't believe anyone's going at her, by the way. I think there's enough of her own mistakes. No one has to dox her the way she doxes other people. If someone wants to get even with her, they can do any of the things we've talked about here. Any of the things Toasty has talked about, right? Any of those things where you just call the police and let them know that she's in town. That's enough to get back at Betty with a just action that's not illegal. So if you have a just non-illegal action to be able to trigger Betty to the end of the earth, why is anyone going to choose the illegal option that Betty is constantly choosing when she cyberstalks, doxes, and harasses people? And another reason that I think Betty doesn't come at me too much that often is because she hears me do something that's very dumb for me to do, which I'm not going to do it much as we go forward, right? You'll notice that when I'm dealing with someone and they're very much like pretending as if they have a propensity to say that that what I'm doing is harassing them or something wrong, you'll notice that I explain things overly, like I explain them in a very complicated, I explain them like I ramble on and I make sure that I say enough so that even a dingus can understand me, right? I say it to where even a dingbat can understand what I'm saying, okay? So I think when she clicks on my videos and she's listening to me, the argument actually carries through and she gets frustrated by that and dips out and tries to get me out of her head. Whereas many other people who she goes at, they just do it the smart way. They do it the way that would make it appealable to a lot of viewers. Because if I'm going to sit here and ramble and be really detailed in my criticism, there's going to be less people that want to hear me do that because it's not as exciting as me dunking and laughing and joking on them, right? And that's why I'm going to shut up. I'm going to stop in a very complex way responding to what they're saying, and I'm just going to laugh and dunk on them for the rest of this stream. Let's go.
My favorite pants have a stain, and I don't think they're coming out because I just laundered them. They just came out of the washer and dryer.
Your favorite pants. Let me go ahead and translate that for you, Betty. The same pants you wear everywhere you go.
I looked down and this is the cross that I'm like, what?
I can sanitize them.
Yeah, a little spot then. You like this? Hi, honey.
Molly, why are you putting her nuclear jeans in your washer? You're going to have to buy a new washer and dryer when she leaves. You're going to have to buy a new one because yours is going to be like radiating nuclear waste now.
Phone number, it came.
Okay, we've already went over this, but I'm going to just play the actual call and then skip past it because I uploaded the call and Nonsense's main reaction to UNIRock 2 today. So after this stream or when you get bored of hearing me, make sure you go watch the upload on UNIRock 2. It's only 10 minutes. It's part 1. There's going to be 3 or 4 parts. But this was a lot of this is in my upload, so I'm going to go through it pretty quickly.
Came from Washington.
So we need to see this because this is what they are distracting from. This is lawsuit material. It's not just lawsuit material to just Betty. It's also lawsuit material to Molly. And Nonsense has a very strong initial action she can take in this matter. And it's called a restraining order. Betty knows that if Nonsense And I think Nonsense, by the way, should. If she doesn't want to file one on Molly, just file it on Betty. That will make sure you and your family are protected from Betty. And I know Molly gives you a lot of shit, but at least Molly's never strangled anybody almost to death and almost cracked her trachea and shit and killed them. Almost. So I hope to God Nonsense and her husband makes the extremely smart decision. And if they, could you imagine if they did? Like, could you imagine if she got a restraining order against Betty? By the way, all she's got to do is file it. She's guaranteed one, just with the few video clips we have. But if she does, it would be the biggest thing since, you know, in the community in a long time. One of the tragedy pimps getting their mouth sewn shut with a restraining order, so Betty can't talk any shit without going to jail. And you know Betty can't watch her mouth, so she probably will violate the fucker within the first like 3 hours and wind up in jail or owing Nonsense a butt ton of money. But then you've got all of the friends of the tragedy pimps who all should have been given restraining orders from many other people in the past. It's just a win-win-win-win situation. Also, if it costs money to file it, well, we could all give it to her. I don't think the entire... Would any of us complain about having to pay for Nonsense's restraining order against Betty? I mean, I'm going to ask y'all. I want to know what you think. I'm going to do a poll. Should Nonsense file a restraining order against Battery Strang Betty? Let me know in that vote that I just threw in right there, okay? It's in the chat. Hit yes or no.
In Pennsylvania, you can see the thing. I blanked out the phone number or whatever, but I did text it directly from my phone to one of my friends who has an iPhone, and it's all verified. Like, it's 100% them. But let's just play it. Since Little Miss Blowhard didn't get told by her friends that I don't really play stupid games.
Rebecca, Becky, it's Bullhorn Betty.
Now, I reacted to this fully in my upload, so I'm going to do the quick version here. You a salty, salty cracker to sit here and call her. Are you this obsessed? Are you this bothered? Are you this much of a pansy or a baby or whatever word you use, Betty? You gotta be a baby bullhorn to sit here. Bullhorn baby. Wham, wham, wham. Where's your diapers? Get your foo-foo. Where's your bottle, Betty? Where's your bottle? To sit here and go grab someone's phone number because you're ticked off that they criticize Marissa on the internet, for God's sake. Are you kidding me? Marissa can't stand up for her own shit. She can't even say Nonsense's name. I just played the clip that people bring up Nonsense in the chat. And first thing Molly says is, don't say her name. I'm so scared. I don't want to pee my pants like Betty did at the furniture store. Don't say her name. Oh, no. So come on now. You're this salty.
Just wanted to call you. Say hi, babe. How you doing?
Hi, babe. Hi, babe. How you doing? Man, I don't even know what to say there. Betty, you seem really nervous making this phone call for such a tough cookie.
You know, want to find out what your big deal is.
If you wanted to know what her big deal was, you would do what normal YouTubers do, and you would make a video, a commentary video, instead of being such a freaking coward that you try to do it behind the damn scenes. By the way, you realize there are a lot of people out there that claim you, Betty and Molly, have done this to people in the past. You've gotten their phone numbers by doxing them and called and left them threatening messages. There are a lot of people that say that you've done this to them. So I'm glad now that we have some evidence to back those people up. And I know you're all sitting there right now, Molly and Betty, and you're going, uh-oh. How many of them people did we call? 9, 12, 15, 22, 85, 643, 800, 500,000, 490, 100 people?
Just trying to find out, you know, what your problem is, you know? I mean, my name's Andra. My real name is, and, you know.
So we all know Nonsense has already allowed this to be public. She released this herself, so I'm not going to hide it. But she brings up a road that is an old address, not of Nonsense, not of her husband's, but her mother. And this is how much of a sociopath, and this is how much of a just, I don't even, look, what word do you use? Do you use the word criminal? Let me know in the chat. Do you use the word criminal? Like, if you're going to target Nonsense's mother, like you could say, I'm mad at her husband because he lives with her and because he backs her on these streams. Her mother doesn't. The kids don't, you know? Like, can you really say that if you took out your frustrations on Nonsense's mother, that you're the good guy? I don't think Betty or Molly could say that, right? What about her kids? Because you did target the kids and the mother doesn't live with her. The mother is an innocent party. Betty, you like to stalk and dox innocent parties when you get angry at a person on the internet, something that you and Marissa have been accused of for years on this platform prolifically. I don't think you've got room to deny that you do this anymore. So as long as you're willing to admit you do this now.
You know, you being on Andrea Loop and all, I'm just curious, you know.
And this is where, of course, she reveals that she's stalked and heavily doxed, not Nonsense. She's already done that to Nonsense. Thank you, Matt. But to Nonsense's mother, someone that doesn't use YouTube. Nobody in this community, nobody that's saying an ill word. I bet you money that Nonsense's mom doesn't even know who Bullhorn Betty is. It's a fact. I mean, seriously, I'd put money on it. Because if anyone has been talked about when Nonsense and her mother eats lunch and stuff and catches up with each other, it would be Molly, or it would be Dre, it'd be Marvon. It would have nothing to do with Betty, right? Betty is a very stalky person. She is a creep. Betty is a straight up creep. You can't stalk innocent people and then complain when the internet looks at you as a creep. You can't do it. It's just, you can't. And 92% of the people that voted out of 106 people believe Nonsense should file a restraining order against Battery Betty. And this would be the smartest thing to do. She doesn't talk about her. She doesn't make content about her. Betty is a danger to people. When she gets angry, she slits tires. She bashes people's teeth loose. She runs up into property of people who she's mad at on many occasions, and attempted not just to go in the front door, but in the back door on a few of those occasions. And she's a vile, vicious person. She's a nasty person. It's not a claimed thing. This isn't some rumored thing. Again, I would defend anyone out there who has changed. So one of our content creator buddies went to jail. He actually, when he was younger, did do some dumb shit and went to jail. And he's changed his life and been on the straight and narrow for many, many, many years, you know, and he talks about it, and he'll, you know, bring it up as an experience in his life, something that, you know, helped set him on the right path. So the problem is Betty is not that. Betty manipulates and takes advantage of tragedies, deaths, R's, essays, and all these different kinds of cases for her own financial gain, because she doesn't believe in the concept of doing the right thing when it comes to someone that's passed away or experienced a crime. She doesn't believe you should be respectful to people that have experienced a crime. And all of this is starting to add up when you notice that all of Betty's behaviors are very much indicative in her having some form of harassment, punishment, or attraction and obsession over people that she shouldn't have those things toward.
Duh! Yeah.
That was a different century.
Is there something I can do for you?
A different, literal, like, not even in the 2000s. She went back into the 90s or sooner and grabbed an address from Nonsense's mother, okay? So I'm sorry, you know, this is one of the best things. Nonsense really is the person that we didn't deserve, but we all needed. And maybe we did deserve it, who knows, but we definitely needed Nonsense, because Nonsense did the right thing, good commentary, you know, good content and was targeted by these people like many other people are. And instead of deleting her channel when they started to come after her and threaten her, she took everything they did and made it public. The voicemails, the doxes, the threats, all of that, she went straight to her channel every time. And what this has done is shown people that Molly and Betty, all those accusations against them from all these people, along with all the video evidence and along with all the behavior and along with all the lies, is starting. The evidence is too overwhelming. It was too overwhelming before what Nonsense did, and this was the nail in the coffin for Betty and Molly and their friends. This shows that these people are not doing anything good, let alone for tragedies, but for YouTube, and they are the villains. They are the full-on villains, and they sit and cry. I just played it. That's why I just played this clip. Oh my God, we are such bad. Everyone says we're such bad people. We're perceived as such bad people. You're not perceived as bad people. This voicemail cannot exist if you're not what everyone says you are. So you finally have been so caught and so busted. And one of the things that is, I think, going to really change things going into the future is the fact that starting from this moment, and there have been many other moments in the past, but starting from this moment with Betty and Molly, along with the furniture store, along with what Mallory did at the hospital, they are showing everybody out there, even their own subscribers, are standing against them, and they're leaving in droves. The entire internet is woke up. It's like that doubt that they could use to cast into their most ardent supporters isn't even working anymore, because the most ardent supporters, they're only gaining an advantage from following Betty, Molly, and Mallory and all these people in JLR, all of them, because they have a system of doubt that they can go out and say, I'm defending Molly, I'm defending Betty because they're good people, and all of these people are lying about them, and we can act like we do, we can defend them like we do, so that we can help them, right? And that's been taken away from their most ardent supporters. If someone supports Betty and Molly after this, they're having to admit that they support internet stalking, internet obsession, lying to your audience, manipulation, right? All the craziness that we've seen from these people, where before they had some plausible deniability. And looking at the mistake that Mallory made, it's the same with Mallory now. The plausible deniability of Mallory saying, I'm actually helping these stories, covering these. It's gone. You don't go to a children's hospital and purposely trespass on it and try to make problems for the people protecting the kids and waste their time if you're any kind of good person. So how do you have the ability to do this? Like, how do you have the ability to plot this out, to plan this, and to put this plan in motion so that you can get a few super chats or donations to your PayPal? How, if you're anything that you say you are? And JLR, we don't even have to bring up. We don't even have to break it down. And then you look over at Olivia, and Olivia is now facing the exposure of every other members of Heels on the Ground. And Olivia is sitting there, and she's saying, well, I'm at least the one good person out of the group, until you realize that she just lied to everybody so that she could monetize content from a fake interview, right? And all that shows us is that Olivia is just better at putting on that two-faced. Olivia just might be more dangerous than all the other ones combined, because at least when it comes to Betty, she's too incompetent. She keeps messing up and exposing herself. When it comes to Molly, Molly's too wackadoo from whatever the hell she's doing, whatever it is she does to make herself crazy as hell, where she makes mistakes and exposes herself. But Olivia, she can put on that professional smiling face. She can do everything in the background, and she can systematically make sure that she goes in front of you and knows exactly what to do and exactly what to say, so she can continue that lie and she can continue perpetrating that false information. So that type of person, Betty, Molly, are supported by extreme people. It's one of the reasons why Betty is an extremist racist. They're supported by very extreme people. When you look at Olivia, she's more supported by your average person who has a high level of trust for the niceness and that aura that she exhibits towards people. And that is a thing that if Olivia isn't just being used by these people, newsflash, she's not. There's more than enough evidence to show that Olivia knows about all the garbage that's going on and has been helping them do it the entire damn time, and she's not Miss Innocent. So just so you got the news flash, Olivia is another Charlotte. Thank you, Wicked. Exactly. Very much so. Great point. Holy shit. I couldn't have said it better myself. Great point. Olivia could be the most dangerous out of the group because she could sit there and with Molly and Betty in a car and just sit and be like, yeah, we'll dox the hell out of all of them. Yeah, give me their personal information. Here, I'll have you do, yeah, let's help do this, let's do that. And then she can get out of that car and live stream and smile pretty and be perfectly calm and act like nothing happened. Betty and Molly are going to get out and you're going to be able to tell that they're frazzled. That's dangerous, y'all. That is dangerous. I can't touch this freaking Skeletor robot with a 10-foot pole right now because I'll go off. So what's next? This is a really, really, really good clip, and it's just something else that needs to be seen by Betty. It's another reminder of something that Betty, Molly, that House of Williams, and all of them want to slip under the rug so they can help do damage control for their friends. And it's just more evidence that while she's doxing nonsense and while they're trying to get their friends to get engaged in the distractionary measures so that they can hopefully sweep things under the rug, that Betty still can't control herself.
It's a caution. In an abundance of caution.
And yes, I know this is an older clip. I'm playing it for a reason. Just listen. I'd like to pull a clip from 4 months ago of Betty. I'd like to pull a clip of a year ago of Betty. Unfortunately, I can't stand listening to any more of them today, so we're going to have to go with this clip I have at the ready. But it is the exact same person that was sitting next to Molly. This wasn't sitting next to Molly. This wasn't a one-off super angry, super mad, having a bad day, whatever it is, affair, right? This is normal Betty, and all you got to do is go back any amount of time and you just look for the clips where she's talking like this and like you heard in that last clip to be able to see that it's the same person, that this person is just as nasty any other time.
Haters out there. You can send my stuff to law enforcement. I can't too.
Remember, she mentioned people sending stuff to law enforcement. We wish you'd send your stuff to law enforcement, Betty. We wish you would.
I can't too. So what
we need something that's farther in the clip, though, but I'll just play a few minutes of this for fuck's sake.
So I went ahead and put this book together of all the haters, comments, everything. Pictures of them.
Oh, yeah. Whenever she says God bless, her hair gets another 10% more electrified. She doesn't stick her finger in electric sockets. She actually is getting shocked by God every time she says God bless.
Pictures of their channels, links to their channels. I give everything, anybody that has a criminal record, it's in there, mugshots and all.
I don't think I've said this in over an hour, y'all. If you want to support us tonight, you can through any way, and I appreciate everything. But PayPal and Cash App, the link is in the chat, comes through immediately, and it really helps. So I'm just saying it, I'm just sharing it. Just ignore it if you'd like, and let's move on.
And that includes Angela, that wants to do that to me. Whew, girl, look who's talking. Holy crap, look who's talking. Thank God I don't do what you do to me to you.
Thank God I don't do, but you do worse than everybody else. You see, when you have this new information, when you've got this new context, you can go grab some clips where it's very similar conversation and look for the little tells, right? Betty's been this way for years. Betty has been just as doxy, just as threatening, just as voicemaily, you know. She is the weakest, thin-skinned individual out there from heels in the ground. And then Molly is pretty thin-skinned, right? But the problem is, Molly, as much as like she lies all the time, she'll still be real with you, like when she's out there e-begging or when she's out there just going off doxing people in chat, right? She's getting real with you when she does those things, and she's showing her true self. Yeah, she'll delete it later when she thinks about it for a second. But when it comes to Betty, she's been hiding this stalking part of herself. And doesn't that give you a new level of thought And some of you are like, no, I knew this the whole time. Well, a lot of us haven't known Betty that long. But it's this new kind of realization when it comes to those videos of her at the city council meetings, you know, sitting there demanding stricter cyber stalking laws, stricter stalking laws. And the reason I bring it up is I want to ask you guys, do you think that she really believes her bullshit about how stalking is completely different if you're on the internet or if you're in person? Do you think she's said this so many times that she's starting to believe it herself? Because like it really is starting to appear that way. It's starting to appear like she may have convinced herself that you can not stalk people on the internet, but you can stalk the living shit balls out of somebody in person because she's never been busted for it.
But now the tables are finally turned.
And you'll find these kind of clips going back, you know, as long as you look.
Protest. I'm fine.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let me make sure I got it.
What I do, it is what it is, and I'm just coming there for a fact-finding mission. But should there be a point, you know, it's not uncommon for if I feel that there's an injustice, that I will use the bullhorn.
If I feel that there is an injustice, I use the bullhorn. You should be pointing that bullhorn at yourself then, because you've been doing nothing but sitting behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, causing injustice after injustice after injustice towards people that you don't like you just don't like their opinions. They're not allowed to think the truth about you because you got to hide that truth from people, right? You got to turn yourself into an educated person. Well, if I tell the truth that you're a very uneducated individual, all of a sudden now you want to force me to say that you're smart. If I tell that you're someone that stands against cyber stalking laws, well, if I tell the truth that you're a cyber stalker and a real world stalker, now all of a sudden I'm a bad person for saying it. I'm not a bad person for saying it. You should be accepting the truth. If you could accept the truth, you could change these things about yourself. You could maybe take what you have of a small following of people and keep them as you try to do real content on the platform. And maybe educate yourself from other people for a good 20 or 30 years before you ever think of educating anyone else. Then again, you are a Dunning-Kruger cyber-stalking, uneducated racist, so I don't expect you to.
But anyways, if I choose to go out there, I will. And I will be bringing my bullhorn, but probably not using it. It's going to be one of those Quentin Simon things, you know, where I stand out and I kind of, you know, get a lay of the land. I meet with people. I interview with people. I find out what's really going on. I find out.
Yeah, those people are in danger around you. It's a fact. You just can't say it's not true. If they make you mad, you're going to threaten them on voicemail. And if you're going to threaten somebody on voicemail, you would just as easily threaten them in person. You make them mad, you're going to dig into their life and try to get them fired from their job. You're going to try to change their life in a very negative way because you bumped into them. That's why, Betty, the more you bump into people, the more you're going to deal with your past victims standing against you, informing law enforcement, informing your victims, informing people that could become your future victims. And if you change your behavior, I'm going to hook you up with a truth. If you could ever change your behavior for an extremely significant amount of time and stop doing any of this, and show people that you're done with it, you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Who these people are, why they're involved, blah, 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 right?
Well, you know, that's funny, Betty, because I thought you weren't allowed to interview people or reach out to people or contact people or send people information without it being stalking. Like, what's the difference between a person finding out that you're going to a town and trying to contact people and inform them about what you do and to look out for you? What is the difference between that and you finding out that a crime has happened in a town and you going in and trying to talk to people and get information from people and figure out what's going on and let people know what's up and all this stuff? You see, it's very much the same, except you've come up with a way to demonize the people that try to warn people about you without seeing the parallels and without seeing the commonalities in what those people are doing with what you do covering these stories. And there's a big difference. The people that are legit just doing it to inform and keep other people safe are really, they're trying to, they're not exploiting a situation. They're not exploiting it. They're not gaining money. They're not gaining anything from trying to share information with others to keep them safe from you getting them to lose their jobs, you choosing them as another potential cyber stalking victim or a real life stalking victim. Do you feel where I'm going with this? So again, you have a gain, a monetary gain, and convince your audience through grifting that because you go to do this stuff, they should be more inclined to support you. They shouldn't be inclined to support you because you do what you do. It's that you're spending more money than other people, and therefore people need to step up more to support you. You feel me? Okay. So then again, I've made my point. Those people that call you out, that try to inform law enforcement or trying to warn people about you, there's more than enough evidence out there now to show they could lose a job, they could lose a neck, they could lose their tires, they could lose their privacy, they could lose one of the most fundamental things about someone's home or someone's life, which is the security they have, right? Them being able to be at home and not feel like someone's going to try to fuck with them in their home because they're pissed off at their opinion, which is something you take away from people all the time.
So
yeah, and this is a big thing. I'm starting to see the real amount of damage that Heels on the Ground have done after watching the true House of Williams, the true Bullhorn Betty, and I've seen a lot of the true Bullhorn Betty in the last month, but the true Molly Golightly in the last 4 months. I'm starting to really, the more I see from these people and the more I've watched them go into Ashley Furniture, the more I've looked at the hospital video, I'm starting to really realize that what we're seeing at Ashley Furniture and at the hospital is the same attitude that they've had with the stories they cover. Don't think that they went to Gabby Petito and weren't plotting and planning to throw those laundry baskets, to yell and scream, to blast Brian Laundrie's voice after he's committed suicide to his parents. All of those things were done for shock and awe, profit, and we're done with that House of Williams kind of laughing in the car and making fun of everybody and being the way that House of Williams was when House of Williams drove away. That is what these people are doing. That is who they are behind the scenes when they're alone with each other. That way that House of Williams acted in that car, I am absolutely positive that Betty and Molly and House of Williams and Olivia have all acted that way together in concert, in unison when driving away or when discussing what they do. We're just now starting to see glimpses of the truth as their barrier of exposure erodes the walls that they've built. Again, this weird thing happens in every Fraudrazer reveal. Every time you out one of these stalkers online or harassment groups online, like with the people we talked about before this and everything, there is a level as things erode, as it starts to erode away, as you expose them, the more the people find out the truth about them, the more that the less they are able to hide that two-face. And you can rewind 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. When we get to this phase in any story, in any group we're looking at, I will say this speech, these words about the group, because they all have this in common. And it's crazy. It really, I was talking in Discord and I was speaking about the crime unit with the FBI, the profiling unit that started profiling serial killers and other types of criminals to be able to predict their behavior and to predict the way they would act. And I was making a comment about how through what we do online, learning about these different groups of people, we're starting to understand how the science of profiling is done. Because when you are back against the wall, exposed against these horrible things you've done, you only have a few options of action. You could either go out and apologize, right your wrongs, and try to show people that you're going to change and fix what you're doing, or you can keep doing what you're doing. There's not that many other options that are there. And that's why it makes it so simple for profilers and for criminologists and psychologists to sit down and look at deviant behavior, criminal behavior, behavior that is centered on taking advantage of others, harming others or whatever, and actually being able to map out the choices that are going to be made at different stages of their con or grift. You know, once the walls start collapsing, they don't build back up. They don't get to undo the damage. Guys, thanks for watching. I hopefully have presented something that you like to see tonight. But the main thing is I uploaded to UNIRock 2 and I need you. If you want to support me absolutely for free, you can go to UNIRock 2 and watch my upload. Like the video, leave a comment, and share it. All of those things that you do to that video will ensure that YouTube recommends it to more people. It's a video that more people need to see. I put a lot of work into it, and there's more parts coming out in the next few days, and I hope you like it. And next up, part 2 is Ashley Furniture and Ray Betty, leading into part 3, which will be House of Williams, the hospital, and in the end, it'll be a reminder to what this all was a distraction from, which tonight I hope I shined another focus onto, which is the extreme terms of service violation of the stalking of Nonsense's family and Nonsense herself, and the doxing, this extreme doxing Molly and Betty have admitted to and proven they've done. All of those things, of course, in my opinion, House of Williams would have never shown up to that hospital playing this game and acting like House of Williams acted if it wasn't to distract from these things and hopefully take our attention from the fact that Molly and Betty are up against a wall with that voicemail, with those threats, and with their, most importantly, admissions to the level of doxings that they perpetrated against innocent people, including Nonsense. Nonsense was innocent too. We have a right. Remember that free speech they always talk about? Where's our free speech? Where's the free speech for someone that wants to speak against Bullhorn Betty, Molly, or House of Williams? JLR or any of them? Where is the free speech? Right? They have to start thinking about free speech when it comes to people that want to speak against them. And they have to start developing ways of thinking that doesn't try to quiet those people unless they're admittingly trying to take away rights, other people's rights to speech and other rights to what they want to talk about. But doesn't that make sense? If you're willing to take away someone's right to privacy, if you're willing to threaten them, if you're willing to try and scare them, if you're willing to stalk them, you've taken away rights that are far beyond the right of free speech in more complex and more criminal ways of violating someone. So it does make sense. If you want to support me for ways that aren't free, just consider the links in the chat and description. I shared them again. PayPal.me/UniRock and money sign UNIRACHEL UNIRACHEL on Cash App. Other ways are in the description. Most important free way, completely free. Go watch the video on UNIRock 2. Subscribe while you're there. Leave a comment, like the video, all that stuff. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate you. Tomorrow, I think that the breakdown of the furniture video will be much better. I'm not going to say it'll be uploaded tomorrow, but it'll be very close to being ready tomorrow. I think it'll be the best part. Now, the House of Williams hospital thing, oh, I'm going to be dunking on that entire video on that upload because that's just disgusting. See you later. Bye-bye. Thank you. I'm Audi 5000G. Peace. I'm going to give away free rocks. If you want the free rocks, you've got to type or emoji in the chat to get the free rocks. Type or emoji in chat to get the free rocks. Free rocks. I am a JLR robot. I am a Skeletor robot. Free rocks in the chat if you type or emoji. I am a robot. Skeletor, Skeletor. Da, 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 da. Skeletor, 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 rah, 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 rah. Thank you for the support. I love you guys. I appreciate you. My uploads are far more entertaining than my live streams. I'm better at uploading than anything else, just to let you know. About to hit the payout button. As soon as I hit the payout button, the stream will end. 500,000 free rocks coming at you to say thank you, and I appreciate you, and I hope to see you here on the next live stream. And I do again hope you'll watch my upload on UNIRock 2. I just paid you all out with the 500,000 rocks. Thank you.